consult with the municipality's water and sanitation department. The department had requested security personnel to some of its pump stations that had been vandalized.
Water and sanitation departments specifically mandated the use of GUBI's 85 Solution Pty Ltd, citing that they were already utilizing this service provider services and refused to engage multiple different service providers for budgetary and administrative reasons. In fact, the department was already utilizing GUBI's before I was even involved.
Perry says he was not aware the department was already using security guards from GUBI's 85 Solutions, saying the deployment was likely unlawful since he didn't sign off on it. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
We move to the courts where the state has accused Julius Mkhwanazi and Ekurhuleni City Manager Kagiso Lerutla of making a mockery of the criminal justice system. It says, had it not been for the establishment of a SAPS task team to deal with testimony emanating from the Madlanga Commission, the case would have been buried. Mkhwanazi and Lerutla are facing charges of fraud, theft and corruption in connection with an incident in 2019 where they allegedly got an impersonator to attend court for Lerutla while he went on an interview for the position of CFO at the municipality. He got that job and later secured the position of city manager. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
The state has argued that the alleged offense by the two accused is an embarrassment on law enforcement by the very people who are supposed to protect it. It has argued that when the incident took place in 2019, there was a cover-up by yet unknown individuals to stall or suppress investigations into the matter for several years until the formation of the task team linked to the Madlanga Commission. The state further argued that without this intervention, the case could have remained buried, potentially leading to a miscarriage of justice. It's understood the witnesses in this case are very well known to the accused and were possibly their subordinates. The impersonator who allegedly went to court on Lerutla's behalf is believed to have been Mkhwanazi's driver, who the state says could have gone to prison if a custodial sentence was imposed. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News at the Boksburg Magistrates Court.
The Western Cape government has raised serious concerns about the effectiveness of the SANDF deployment in the province. Despite the Army's deployment along with SAPS and Metro Police under Operation Prosper, shootings have continued to flare up in the province. Western Cape SAPS reports show about 15 suspects have been arrested since the operation started this month. Carlo Peterson has more.
Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says he grilled Provincial Police Commissioner Tembisile Patakile at a Safety Council meeting this week. Winde raised concerns about poor intelligence and weak investigations, saying Cape Town's communities remain under siege by gangs despite the rollout of Operation Prosper.
Too many of our communities are still under siege and deployments alone are inadequate. This force multiplier must be really planned well. It must be intelligence driven. It must be coordinated.
However, Winde's words weren't even cold when Western Cape Police reported the operation's biggest success yet. Police say early this morning 3 suspects were arrested after 5 firearms, extended magazines, ammunition and an M25 hand grenade were confiscated in Delft. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
As the South African judiciary mourns the passing of retired Judge President Ahmad Naeem Jappy, Chief Justice Mandisa Maya has paid tribute to a distinguished jurist. She says the former KwaZulu-Natal Judge President served the people of South Africa with honor and integrity. Judge Jappy died in hospital yesterday after a short illness at the age of 70. He was appointed to the bench in 1998 and served for more than 2 decades. He later became Deputy Judge President before his appointment as Judge President of the KwaZulu-Natal High Court in 2015. Ntutuzela Nene reports.
Chief Justice Mandisa Maya says Judge Jappy was widely admired for his calm temperament, fairness, humility and commitment to justice. She says he earned the respect of colleagues, legal practitioners and court users for his integrity and deep knowledge of the law. Even after retiring in 2021, he continued to serve the country, including as chairperson of a judicial conduct tribunal. Maya described his death as a great loss to the judiciary and the legal profession. She says he will be remembered for his dedicated service, principled leadership and lasting contribution to justice in South Africa. Ndutuzela Nene, Eyewitness News.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin is yet to decide if he will attend the G20 in the United States this December. According to local media, the ministry says no decisions have been made on the matter as of yet. Putin has not participated in a meeting of the group, which is made up of the world's top economies since 2019. Russia was invited to the G20 summit in Miami on December 14th and 15th. Gold's trading at $4,734.24 an ounce. The rand at 16.51 to the dollar, at 22.27 to the pound, at 19.31 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $101.90 a barrel.
In the traffic in Devlin, there's still some traffic pressure on the Golden Highway as you approach the N12, and you can look out for faulty traffic lights in Rand Park Ridge at the N1 South and Beyers Naudé.
And in your sport, no FIFA plans to replace Iran with Italy at upcoming Men's World Cup. We have new leaders in the Premier League, while Sundowns missed out on the chance of doing the same in the Betway Premiership. And the Proteas women wrapped up a T-Series victory with 2 games to still play against India.
And in your weather, it's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 15 and 18 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri says the request from implicated company Gubis 85 Solutions to guard its infrastructure came directly from the Water and Sanitation Department.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon to you all. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Thursday, the 23rd of April. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you are listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. President Cyril Ramaphosa will be addressing the nation at 4 p.m. today. That at least is the scheduled time, with Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia, we believe, in attendance. Most of the speculation suggests that this man will be at the center of the conversation.
Yes, I might be being dragged closer to serious criminals, which I don't know them, but they must stay positive, serve the people of South Africa, look forward. I know that I'm not guilty, I'm not wrong, but of course the trial must still take its course. And all I'm saying is stay focused, don't be diverted. Stay focused, continue doing the work.
Yeah, but South Africans are worried.
We have come to a close where we know what is the root cause and who's behind organized crime in South Africa.
That was National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola talking outside his court appearance in Pretoria earlier this week. We will cross to the President's announcement as it happens. We'll analyse the outcomes. Again, depending on timing, that's most likely after 5. Also in the news, the situation in and around Iran remains as uncertain as ever, with peace talks on and then off, and some people attending and then not, and others coming in their stead. The Strait of Hormuz opened and then closed again, and then partially open, and then fears expressed that all the mines in the water, a contested fact, may well delay full reopening by 6 months. A lot going on. We'll get an analysis with Professor James Kerr-Lindsay at 10 to 5. You would think that English cricket fans would want to be able to watch and watch again moments like this.
Bowling. Couldn't quite get himself out the way. In the end, it's off the glove and onto off stump. Vapu must go on. Broad with 5.
Yeah, that was Stuart Broad absolutely ripping through the South African batting at the Wanderers. Well, a report coming out from the British newspaper The Guardian suggests that Cricket South Africa may be struggling to sell UK TV rights for the Proteas' 3-test hosting of England in December. That, by the way, also includes 3 one-day internationals. That tour going into January with the much awaited and well attended Test match at Newlands over New Year, as it has been for so many years. We'll look at the financial implications for South African cricket if this doesn't get resolved. TV rights sold in particular for series against England, Australia and India. Crucial part of the financing of a game that has been heading in the right direction, both on and off the field, for quite a while. Analyst Ngobile Ndlovu will be joining us for that at 3:25. And popular songs, I think it's fair to say, mostly about love and other emotions like unrequited love, which could be the flip side of love. But every once in a while, you get songs that really catch attention, that are inspired by great moments and great people in history. The sound of the Specials in 1984, Free Nelson Mandela. Do you have a favorite song that talks about a famous person or an important historical moment? Or maybe a notorious one? Give it some thought. We'll hum along with you and share your thoughts and some of our music with you after 5:30. On the markets, the JSE's taken a bit of a hammering today, down by 1,430 points. That's around 1.2%. Resource stocks are absolutely the worst off. Northam, platinum producer, of course, down by 5.3%. Implats by 4.8%. Anglo Gold by 4.5%. I'll give you the prices on those metals in a moment. Clicks, unusually in that mix, I suppose, but down by 5%. Some better news for Aspen, up by 1.8%. British American Tobacco has gained 1.6%. MTN is up by 1.4%. The gold price is down by $10.23. Platinum weaker by $64.56. Hence the numbers I've just given you for Implats, Northam, and there are others as well. The gold price, as I said, has gone down, but the rand is trading a little bit stronger today. Currently at 16.49 against the dollar. A euro will cost you 19.28. That's a 3-cent gain. 22.26 will get you a pound. There's a couple of cents in that shift as well. The oil price, Brent crude going for $101.81 a barrel. Stephen Curtis joining us with all the market news at 4:25. Sport with Anthony Teixeira. You heard him a moment ago. Khomotso Munyai is with us to bring us the very latest traffic news, and Mbali Dlamini back with the updated news headlines. That's at 3:30. This is 702 Drive. We are live in the place where you live, and if it's happening in 702 land, we'll do our best to bring you the very latest news and the clearest explanations of what's actually happening out there. But there's always your possibility to contribute. First of all, if there are issues that you have noticed, seen, heard about that we haven't covered, please drop us a note on that. And of course, there's facts and interpretation of those facts where you may want to have a different view to us. You can give us a call on that as well. 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. It's 3:15.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Now, the fact that we chose to just give you a taster of what we're going to talk about in our music feature in the last part of the show was an old song invariably brings up the question of nostalgia. We've spoken before when we talked music about songs that remind you of things in your past. But what about those kind of random sounds, things that you don't necessarily remember, and then you hear it and it takes you back somewhere? Jonathan Fairburn producing the show today with Refuel Litsua. What have you been digging out? I heard strange noises coming from your little section where we work, but you were digging out some old sounds.
Yeah, afternoon, John, and to the team. So it's, nostalgic sounds, right? And
yes,
I was thinking about some of the sounds that are nostalgic to me, and the first one that came to mind was the sound of traffic, because when I grew up, the house that I stayed on, we were a corner house.
Yes.
And we grew up on a very, very busy road. It was C.R. Swart Road in Wilrow Park. Very busy road. And that was always a sound that was there, like a day and night. I mean, obviously at a certain time at the night, the
Get a bit quieter,
would go quieter, but there was always the sound of traffic going past the home. So, I mean, that was one sound that comes to mind. And then I thought about something else, which was maybe a little bit more creative. And back in the day, I mean, you know, you used to wait for movie releases to come out. Because there was always, the box office, and there was always big movies coming out that you had to go see at the cinema. And then you would sit in the cinema and you'd wait for the movie to come, and they'd play the trailers. And then just before whatever studio had made that particular movie, they would play their sort of studio jingle.
Right.
And this one was a nostalgic one for me. Let's take a listen. Yeah. So that was a nostalgic one for me. I think that studio was it's escaped my mind now. But yeah, that was a studio jingle. That if that studio made that movie, it would.
So what's the movie?
No, it could be any movie.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
I thought we could do a little trawl there.
Anyone
know what movie house that sound was? Whose signature tune that was? I mean, for me, and I'm going further back because the movie industry has changed. So the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Lion, which I think Alistair Teeling-Smith was telling us that Raw was actually a Tigers. I don't know how he knows that. We'll maybe have to get him to send us a WhatsApp. I think he does have the number. And the other one was 20th Century Fox had a particular sound But how about you, Khumotso? I mean, sounds that remind you of your past, of your youth. Ras Makhosi has just sent us a picture of an ice cream truck. Wonderful. So we'll dig that sound up.
That's a good one.
This one from Sally. Big wall watchers in the dark. The sound of clocks. I suppose on the wall of maybe a boarding school room or whatever. Sally, where would you have had that? And listen to this one from Tsepo Entle, which is really evocative. The sound that is made by door hinges, cheap ones. Okay, interesting. Any sound that comes back for you?
Yeah, I have two. One is the generation's old song, ding 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 ding. Because I remember that was my curfew time. I knew when that song comes on, I have to be home by that time. So definitely that one.
Just do the sound again. I'm battling to
ding,
pick it up.
Ding 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 ding. Do you the old generations, not this one? Yes, I think it even
that one.
Okay, geez, wow, look at you.
People are time between the two of you. People are pulling over to the side of the road.
Then the other one has to be Hadida Birds.
Yes.
Love that sound. It makes me feel like I'm home in the bundus, just trees. Yeah, it grounds me, that sound. I really love it.
Generations, Hadidas, door hinges, ice cream trucks, and the sounds tracks of various movie studios. We're off to a great start. Sounds that take you back. This one from William. Someone chewing gum noisily. Okay, William, I don't know why that takes you back. Makhadi, by the way, suggests that is Universal Studios. But we'll see if we can get a longer version of that and play it for you. Maybe that stirs up some nice memories as well. 3:20. Before we get into the news, let's get you out of the traffic.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by GWM, class-leading vehicles that help you navigate your journey. Khumotso, how's it looking?
Thank you, John. We'll start in Boysens. Traffic is slow on the M1 North. This is heading towards the Crown Interchange, with delays starting just after you pass Gold Reef City. Not sure why, but maybe you can come and tell me. In Devlin, there's still some traffic pressure on the Golden Highway as you approach the N12, and this one is due to those roadworks. Meanwhile, traffic on the N12 West is also slow moving from the N1 Interchange as you head to the Golden Highway. Look out for faulty traffic lights in Edenvale at the R25 in Old Johannesburg. Johannesburg, in Midrand at Old Pretoria Road and Olifantsfontein Road, and in Woodmead at the N1. It's in Midrand at the N1 South and Olifantsfontein. You can also look out for 40 traffic lights. This is in Tshwane, in Centurion at John Foster Drive and the N1, as well as in Pretoria CBD at Thabo Sehome and Johannes Ramohwase. Likewise, if you come across any other traffic, please do send us a voice note on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Ever since fuel went up, you've had to endure a lot. Like helping your mom run errands while she tries to help you with your love life.
Hi, Bo. Kanti, when are you and Sfiso getting married? Pella, I want grandchildren.
Don't let the fuel hike put you under pressure. Get 5,000 Rand towards your fuel when you buy a Haval or P-Series this month. Visit gwm.co.za or your nearest dealer to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more.
The Aubrey Masangu Show on 702.
I cover on my show issues of advisory, whether it is legal matters, whether it is financial matters. I cover day-to-day issues as far as current affairs are concerned. I cover the politics of the day and how we as South Africans are interpreting them. My listener is a curious 702 lander. They want to know what are the backstories, the stories behind what we are hearing on the airwaves. They want to understand what drives the different issues that have us talking. What I love about the 702 family and 702 Land is the fact that we have 702 landers who are responsive, who are present, who care about their communities and who want to know how they can be a part of the process of making our areas better, but also our country better. And that for me is a great privilege. I am totally indebted to the providence out there to be talking to these people on a daily basis.
The Aubrey Masangu Show, weekdays from 8 to midnight.
Whenever she fell or got hurt, a kiss always took the pain away. Honey and hugs helped at first when the coughing started. It's just a cold. Keep her warm and she'll be fine, we thought. I wish I could kiss RSV away too. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
Aziz Shege, be in the game. Show your love for D-Ski with Hollywood Bets. We're taking the soccer season to new heights. You could win a share of 4 million Rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Hilux double cab or Toyota Starlet Cross. All you have to do is bet 10 Rand or more on any soccer fixture online or at your nearest branch. Bet now and strike for glory.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
We hear about corporates that care all the time. It's easy to forget what the main aim is. And the main aim is, I suppose, to just remind corporates, yes, you have various responsibilities, but one of them is to society.
Absolutely. Fundamentally, it's about how do we pull together to galvanize business, media, NPOs around, what are the core challenges? Let's pull together, let's make a difference.
Trish Taylor there, head of the Corporates That Care strategy at Prime Media.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Crutches, is brought to you by ABSA Corporate Investment Banking. Success in trade comes from systems that move with speed, connect markets seamlessly, and unlock growth that works across borders. That's why ABSA is a proud sponsor of Trade Tech Europe 2026. Engineered for how Africa trades. ABSA is a registered FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Let's focus our attention now on, I think, an important political story as we build up towards local government elections. The African National Congress this week told members who also belong to the South African Communist Party that they have 10 days, starting today, I think, to declare which party they would be campaigning for in the 2026 local government elections. For many, many years, decades, I think it's fair to say, it's been possible to be members of both. But with the South African Communist Party indicating and actually acting on an intention to campaign for elections as the SACP, this is the situation now. Today, the SACP, speaking through General Secretary Solly Mapaila, told members not to comply with this ultimatum from the ANC. So something of a war of words, but I think more of a war of words. It's fair to say, in my view at least, something of an intractable problem that is not necessarily captured by what each side is saying. Making things potentially more complicated is the fact that the alliance has always been a tripartite alliance. The ANC and the SACP on the one hand, as I've just mentioned. The third part of that is COSATU. So what does the Congress of South African Trade Unions think about this? Because they would presumably have members in leadership who might actually hold membership of all three entities. COSATU, let me make clear, is not planning to take part as COSATU in the local government elections, but they must be watching this with both keen interest and concern. Matthew Parks is COSATU Parliamentary Coordinator and joins us now. Mr. Parks, a very good afternoon to you and thanks for your time. I'm sure this has been discussed extensively within COSATU. Have any conclusions been reached? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us. So you're spot on. I mean, this is a matter of great concern to us, to our unions, to our members, to workers, because COSATU from the day it was born and even our predecessor, SACTU, have always been part of the alliance with the ANC and the party. We felt the alliance is what helped liberate South Africa from apartheid, build a constitutional democracy, set us on the path of transformation, etc. We still have much more to do. So when we see these kind of developments, when we see the ANC having a press conference at 10 o'clock about the party, when we see the party having a press conference also at 10 o'clock about the ANC, that concerns us. Like any family quarrel, we do feel a little bit like the children when the parents are fighting, and I think
Yes.
this is a matter of great concern. We have discussed this in many COSATU Central Executive Committee meetings, even our Central Committee, which is like our midterm Congress last year, mandated our national office bearers actually to go and engage the ANC and SACP leadership to find a way to resolve all alliance partners' issues, to find a way to address them, reconfigure the alliance, but also to make sure, as you said earlier, that when we head to our most contested local elections in a few months' time, that the alliance has one platform, has one program of action, has got a coherent message. And we've raised concern that what the ANC and SSP do as our alliance partners, we should not do anything, including us as COSATU. We shouldn't do anything which will confuse or divide workers.
So,
the ANC's base has always been workers, and our fear is that we might be doing exactly that.
Might this not, in the long term, though, if there is a parting of the ways on the lines that the ANC has suggested, be potentially to COSATU's benefit? Because whenever elections come up and the role of COSATU in campaigning for those elections comes into focus, we regularly get callers, and I'm not for a minute suggesting that this is a representative sample by any means, but I think it is a thread in the political conversation that increasingly workers want of their unions and their union federations a much clearer focus on those areas of politics that affect workplace and living conditions, and that they don't necessarily see their best interests as served by any particular political party, and they might prefer COSATU to also step back in some way.
Yeah, look, and that's always natural. That's always going to happen because when people join a union, because COSATU is a federation of unions, so we have a union for teachers,
Right.
a union for clothing workers. Workers join those unions not because they love the ANC or they love this or other organization. They join because they want a union to represent the issues as workers. And we have workers, our members vote for all parties. We've always encouraged them to vote for the ANC. But when you have, nearly 2 million members, people will vote for every party, from the FF Plus and the DA to the EFF and MK across the board. Our job has been to persuade them to support the ANC. But we're also cognizant and fearful. We've raised with both alliance partners that Since the dawn of democracy in 96, local elections onwards,
Yes.
we've seen the ANC shedding to new organizations every time from within the ANC, be it the UDM, be it COPE, ESF, MK, etc. And the consequence is the 40% the ANC got in the last elections. If you put all those parties together, we'd still be at a 60% or majority.
Right.
And our fear is that if we keep fragmenting, we are weakening the progressive forces, and that's one of our fears, that we still have a lot of transformation to do, be it on unemployment, on corruption, fixing the state, etc. And if we keep fragmenting, the liberation movement, so to speak, we feel we're going to make ourselves worse off. But I think right now, our deepest concern is that we're not having an alliance summit, we're not having an alliance political council, which we've called for COSATU to resolve the party's frustrations, to resolve the ANC's frustrations,
Right.
to resolve our own frustrations. And I fear that when alliance partners are talking to each other for press conferences, that doesn't help. We should be sitting on the same table and saying, how do we address each other's concerns? Because we all have the same objective ultimately. We share the same constituency, because you're right. Our members will be members of the ANC, will be members of the SUCP. We don't see a conflict, but I think for us right now is that we're not managing that conflict, and that needs to be addressed before it becomes too late.
Thanks so much, Matthew Parks, COSATU Parliamentary Coordinator. Your views on this issue, by the way, and I'm particularly interested if you are a unionist, have been a unionist, perhaps you're a shop steward or have family members or friends who are shop stewards, and share with you insights from those conversations at that level of union politics and matters, but whatever. Maybe you just have a view. Call us 072 702 1702, 28 minutes to 4. Right, let's get the very latest eyewitness news now with Maki Mulapo. Interesting information once again in regard to the city of Tshwane. Maki, I believe, coming out of the Madlanga Commission. Good afternoon.
That's right, John. Good afternoon. A senior official in the city of Tshwane says a criminal water tanker network is deliberately vandalizing the municipality's water infrastructure. The alarming revelation was made by a suspended inspector in the Tshwane Metro Police Department, Lebogang Phiri, who is on the stand at the Madlanga Commission today. Phiri is responding to allegations he flouted the municipality's procurement processes by allocating ad hoc work to private security companies without authorization from his superiors. He has denied that he acted without his superior's knowledge. Phiri says the municipality regularly has to deploy private security guards to protect its infrastructure from criminal elements.
There is an established modus operandi whereby criminals intentionally vandalize the reservoirs and pump stations to halt the flow of water. Once the municipal water supply is stopped, illicit operators utilizing water tankers illegally draw water directly from municipal hydrants to sell.
We move to the Eastern Cape, where 6 men have been arrested in Entilini in Stutterheim for allegedly manufacturing and distributing various brands of counterfeit alcoholic beverages. Police made the arrest last night, confiscating counterfeit liquor estimated to be worth more than 500,000 rand. Officials received a tip-off about a white Nissan panel van with Gauteng registration number plates in transit from Gugombo City to Stutterheim. Police then set up a vehicle checkpoint on the N6 and pulled over the vehicle, which had one occupant and was filled with clean, empty bottles. Preliminary investigations led them to a house in the area where they allegedly found 5 people producing and packaging various brands of counterfeit alcoholic spirits. The police's Majola Nkotli says they also seized several boxes of illicit alcohol and more than 6,000 rand cash.
It is believed that the site has been operating as a manufacturing factory from 2025. The 6 suspects, aged between 22 and 36, are due to appear in court soon on charges of contravening the Counterfeit Goods Act 31 of 1997. They will also be charged for contravening the Liquor Act.
And in the Western Cape, housing activists say the city of Cape Town's proposal to redevelop Harrington Square in the CBD is an opportunity to address spatial apartheid. The city plans to renew the square into a multifunctional, safer, more accessible space while optimizing the parking area for local businesses. However, housing activists Reclaim the City insist the property should be used to build more affordable housing. Carlo Peterson has more.
With more than 400,000 people on the housing waiting list in Cape Town, housing activists are urging the city of Cape Town to prioritize well-located social housing. Earlier this month, the city called on residents and stakeholders to help shape the future of Haddington Square in the City Bowl. Reclaim the City's Dina Bosch says it's an opportunity for the city to address its housing backlog.
It is most disappointing that the city wants to do some green space on that well-located piece of land.
Bosch says the city can profit from a mixed-use development on the land.
The city can raise at least 25 million rand a year if this piece of land is used as a mixed development, which could include social and gap housing.
The city says a workshop to discuss the future of the property will be held next month. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
A look at your weather. Cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows of 11 and 12 degrees and peak at highs of 15 and 16 degrees.
In the traffic, if you are in Boysens, traffic is slow on the M1 North, heading towards the Crown interchange with congestion just after you pass Goldrift City, and you can expect some delays on the M1 South from Oxford Road to the Crown interchange.
The top story in Eyewitness News. A senior official in the city of Tshwane says a criminal water tanker network is deliberately vandalizing the municipality's water infrastructure.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
That energy availability factor is hovering at about 65%, which is, yes, an improvement on a year ago, certainly 3 years ago. But is 65% the best we can do?
They mentioned that 65%, and they also say, it's gone about 70%, 68 times. We're doing very well. But then looking at the data preparing for this interview, I saw it's currently at 58.4% for the last week. And the last time that it was at 58.4% was April last year. It's been above that continuously since then.
Matthew Cruz, following that ESCOM briefing yesterday, is an energy expert at Empower.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, and we want you to join us and be a part of something special. Entries open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
In business, missed deliveries cost more than money. Go Girl Logistics is South Africa's 100% black female-owned Level 1 Triple BEE powerhouse, delivering secure, time-sensitive transport for parcels, cold chain cargo, and compliance waste. With DG trained drivers, cold chain certification, national reach, and real-time tracking, every load is handled professionally, safely, and on time. Go Girl Logistics. Power beyond cargo. Visit gogirl-logistics.com.
That's Fani before he got naked. Fani's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Fani got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Fani. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702 family, we value what you think and we want to hear it face to face. This Thursday and Friday, we're opening our studio doors to 702 landers who'd like to share their thoughts on the station. Your feedback, your ideas, it all matters to us. Everyone who comes through will get a full studio tour, see where the 702 magic happens. And if you would like to join us, send an email now to contact@702.co.za.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John and team, sounds from when we were young. This is definitely going to give away my age, but the little old guy that used to push a bicycle with a whole bunch of mealies on the front and used to sell them in the suburbs and go, mealies!
Om Chayelo, Om Chayelo Bakozi, Om Chayelo, Om Chayelo Makoti. Oh, that was the sound of ladies selling brooms walking down the road. Yo, 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 yo. That sound. Zippo, Eastern Cape.
Hi, Dr. John, I-702. I'm actually obsessed with making old programs as my ringtone. I've got Cheers, I've got Family Ties. It just depends on my mood, but currently I actually have the Generations one. I've just sent it to you guys. But it's actually quite cool because when everybody hears that Generations tone, they just have this smile on their face and it's like, oh wow, and it just takes them back. It is the coolest thing ever. Mulefe from Rhodoport.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sending that. People are reaching into all sorts of areas of their oral memory. Clayton says, doves cooing and the sounds of herding cattle are inseparable. Lovely. What an evocative image that provides. This from Colin, mixing sand in a wheelbarrow. I hate that sound. I work in construction. And Conk, or Tonk, I don't know which it is, sends us this. The tune for Generations was produced by Aubrey, I beg your pardon, Lidwaba, who still stays in Alex, and also produced for the group Liquid Deep. Yeah, very, very nice. I'm really enjoying what people are coming up with this. Goodness me. Graham says, the sound of a Spitfire flying overhead. So not a Triumph Spitfire on the ground, but a Spitfire, the fighter plane. I always get pins and needles all over, says Graham. It reminds me of my youth in England after the war, and that clearly a reference to the Second World War. Yeah, this one from Mbezi, Rain on a Tin Roof. Lovely stuff. Thank you. 18 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Anthony, this World Cup has got a lot of politics around it, man. You've got an update.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. It really does. And FIFA have now highlighted comments made by their president, Gianni Infantino, last week, which reassured that Iran would be at the upcoming North American World Cup, although no official statement has been released. This comes after U.S. Special Envoy Paolo Zamboli confirmed that he had suggested to Donald Trump that Italy replace Iran at the finals. The Financial Times reporting this was partly to smooth relations between the US and Italy following Trump's comments towards Pope Leo XIV. Questions over Iran's participations have hung quite largely over it due to the political tension. They have 2 games in LA against New Zealand and Belgium, as well as 1 in Seattle against Egypt. Last week in Washington, Infantino shared his belief that they would be at the showpiece.
We hope that by then, of course, the situation will be a peaceful situation. Iran has to come. Of course, they represent their people. They have qualified. They want to, the players want to play. You know, if there is, how should I say it? If there is nobody else that believes in building bridges and in keeping them intact and together, well, we are doing that job.
Under FIFA rules, the sports governing body has sole discretion on what should happen if a team withdrew. In England, Man City are the new Premier League leaders after a 1-0 win over Burnley, while back home Orlando Pirates still top of the table. Mamelodi Sundowns couldn't only muster up a 1-1 against Stellenbosch, with Brazilians still having a game in hand over their rivals. While in cricket, the Proteas women will have 2 free hits against India after they won the third encounter by 9 wickets to claim the series as well. They have the T20 World Cup starting in June and have spoken about needing to try out new combinations and experimenting with their lineup. Captain Laura Volfart spoke about one of those as Senelus continues to open the batting.
She ended up with a pretty handy innings, I think 50 of not that many balls as well. So yeah, her role as an opener has been amazing. I think she's adapted so well to the change, and yeah, she's doing really well at the top of the order. I think she has a lot of different options, which makes it quite hard to bowl to her, especially the spinners in the power play, because she sweeps so well and she can hit down the ground. I think we complement each other pretty well, and it was nice to bat together today.
And the IPL today has the Mumbai Indians against the Chennai Super Kings. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 3:45, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. Let's find our nearest traffic reporter. Oh, there she is. Kumotso Monyai, what's up?
Thank you, John. If you are leaving Sandton, traffic is starting to build up along Grayston Drive, heading towards Catherine Street. It's also starting to trickle in on the N3 South from the Batlu interchange all the way to the Gululis interchange. You can also expect those peak time delays on the M1 South from Oxford Road to the Crown interchange. And in the opposite direction, the M1 North is backed up between Ethel Oaklands Road and Woodmead Drive. Look out for faulty traffic lights on Midrand at Old Pretoria Road and Olifantsfontein Road. In Rand Park Ridge at the N1 South in Beyers Nodia. In Pretoria, in Centurion at Old Johannesburg and Parkfontein, as well as in Old Johannesburg and Central. Pointsmen are on duty there, so no need to worry much. More updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers, and baths, to basins, taps, tools, and accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a Plumlink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza. Plumlink, your local plumbing store. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
The Midday Report at its heart is a current affairs show, but it really is a show about everything you need to know about and everything you didn't know you needed to know about. Our listener is sharp, plugged in, curious, has developed opinions, but is still open to learning new things. My favorite part is how witty, sharp, and funny our listener is. What we cover every day is breaking news, current affairs, politics, the courts, global developments, science, education, popular culture, sports, books, and of course, good things too. I like to think of it as a lunchbox with a little bit of everything. What I love about 702 Land is that it is full of energy. There's always something happening, a developing story to follow. But it's not parochial. The 702 family cares about what is happening in the world around them and how we plug into that.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Weekdays from 12 to 1 p.m.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Quick two observations out of Anthony's sports report. I mean, Laura Vorfart is an absolute force of nature. What an extraordinary innings on top of all the other extraordinary innings she's played. And I'm just keen to know, was anyone at the Wanderers last night? I mean, that must be something that you file away as a memory, a really, really special memory of an extraordinary cricketing feat. And speaking of filing away, to file away and shocked but not surprised that the US president thinks that a place at the World Cup is something that they can bargain with to deal with geopolitical difficulties. I mean, firstly, I'm pretty sure, Anthony, that even if it was offered to Italy, which it wouldn't be because FIFA, even at its most craven, couldn't actually contemplate negotiating or even considering that. But be that as it may, surely the Italian Football Federation would be say, hey, listen, we have our pride.
I think it sort of depends on if Iran pulls out or not. If Iran say we're not going to go,
yes,
then I would be shocked if FIFA didn't hand it to Italy, considering the fact that they are the highest ranked team that didn't make the World Cups, that they also have won it 4 times in their history. The question would be whether or not they give it to them directly or they sort of put it into this whole, we'll do like a knockout tournament beforehand.
Oh, right. There's a lot of time for that.
Listen, it's their full discretion.
Yes. And I mean, hey, another set of TV rights to be sold. Anyway, hot mess taking shape, but hopefully it won't happen. But what's various role players are revealing about themselves in this conversation is a little ugly, to put it mildly. Anthony, we were talking about sounds that remind you of distant parts of your lives. We've had ice cream trucks, rain on tin roofs. We've had creaky hinges. I'm not sure referring exactly to where, but presumably in the home. What about you? Is there noise that takes you back?
Actually, I heard it recently on an Instagram reel, and I went straight to my youth. It's actually the startup sound for the PlayStation 2, which is like this crescendo that builds up. It's such a brilliant sound. And the minute I heard it, I could remember a time that was a lot less stressful for me personally, which was just about sitting around playing Crash Bandicoot with friends and cousins. It was, yeah, what a sound.
Okay, the startup sound of PlayStation 2 added to the list of nostalgic sounds. We still need yours, by the way, on 072 702 1702, 9 minutes to 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
And at this time, 702 Drive is in conversation with PPS. Success is better shared. And speaking of shared, 6.88 billion rand. That's what PPS returned to its members in 2025. One of its strongest years yet, and a significant step up from the year before. How does a financial services company deliver that kind of value, especially in a tough economy? Well, joining us now is PPS Group CEO Isak Smit to unpack the strategy behind the numbers, the risks shaping the landscape, and how mutuality continues to drive long-term value. Isak Smit, welcome. It's great to have you with us on the show. So a second good year in succession, 2025 even better than the year before. How have you managed to achieve this? Is this simply following market trends, or have you also had to cut your own path through some of the thicker woods?
Yeah, thank you and good afternoon, John. Yes, listen, don't tell my board and my boss, the chairman, this. It's not all management brilliant.
Yes, okay, I
The
won't.
investment markets did help us significantly last year. But yes, mainly two sources of profit. One is operating profit. That's mainly underwriting profit. So that is from the insurance business. And then, of course, what do we do with that profits? We allocate it to our members, but in profit share accounts that stay on balance sheet. That's our capital. Remember, we're a mutual business. And we invest it. And then, of course, if the investment markets do their thing, there's extra profit to declare the next year. So as we know, 2025, probably against all expectations, was a brilliant year in the investment markets, especially local and even overseas equities.
Just say a little bit more about being a mutual business. I referred to the term mutuality as well. Are there many mutual businesses still around? And if you are a relatively rare animal, what kind of animal are you?
Yeah, it's very interesting, John, if you go back centuries, a lot of insurance businesses have actually started off as mutuals. It's when society came together and they had to hedge themselves against certain risks and they pooled capital. There were many demutualizations over time. PPS currently is the biggest mutual on the African continent. We are a diversified financial services business now. Remember, we started off income protection 85 years ago. It was a group of eight dentists that actually started us. But yes, it just means that we don't have stockholders, in other words, shareholders as a stakeholder.
Right.
I can tell you that makes my job a lot easier. All the value that we create, we return to our members, and either as a claim in the unfortunate, if they have claim events, but the rest as profit share, and it can build up quite significantly over their lifetimes.
I want to go back to the members you've just mentioned. I mean, obviously, there's the huge global number, 6.88 billion rand. It's got way too many noughts, I think, for anyone to imagine it. But behind each, if you break that number down, there's a member behind each of the payouts that you've just made. I mean, you must get feedback from members, and they tell you what kind of impact this has for them. What kind of stories do you hear?
Yeah, you know what, John, we often maybe a bit for the fun, but I think it shows the impact. We track how many of our members over time have accumulated more than 1 million in their profit share accounts, and that number increased by more than 2,500 last year, so 14,500 of them I mean, the biggest are now in excess of 7 million that they have accumulated in their profit share accounts. And all that they did was just like take those financial solutions that all of us need, saving for retirement and insurance cover. They took it from us, instead from somebody else. And that's all those profits that accumulate, we return to them.
One of the, I would think, very interesting and I would think probably very, very useful beyond, the boundary of PPS itself, Mr. Smith, things that you are generating in addition to these record profits is insights into what South Africans are claiming for. What are the claims experience that is getting fed, I'm sure, upwards into your office, telling us about the kind of risks South Africans are facing at the moment? Is there a trend, 1 year old, 2 years old, or longer?
Yeah, a couple of trends there. Our claims last year came in across the group. If you include short-term as well, remember I said we've diversified now. We've got short-term businesses as well. It was above 4.6 billion. Again, a very big number, couple of zeros in there.
Indeed.
That we return to our members in the form of claims. Always remain our first priority. What's left then goes into profits. But some trends. If I start with on the short-term side, and that's still it's growing. I mean, we started our short-term solutions, those businesses, about 10 years ago. Last year, a very good year on the short-term insurance side. I think across the industry, good profits because there were not big negative weather events last year, things like that. So that helped. On the life side, John, you will have, of course, years when it's a bit above your actuarial expectations, sometimes below. Last year for us, it was a little bit above. And mostly, in fact, what we saw on death claims, the average values increased significantly year on year, although the number was more or less flat. And you will find that from time to time, that you have these statistical variants. But John, actually, as you know, we focus on the professional segment. And professionals also, they have to cope with, I guess, what most society in general, there's the pressure. Many of them in challenging careers in their practices struggle with balance and those kind of things. And we maybe us South Africans in general, there's always an argument to be made. We can live healthier lives and
indeed
sleep more and all those factors. Eat well and cut the sugars out and so on. But overall, we saw an uptick in claims year on year, but it was one of those years. It's a lot of it we will just describe to statistical variation.
Thanks so much. Isak Smith, Group CEO at the Professional Providence Society, PPS. Mutuality is the belief that the whole adds up to more than the sum of its parts. That's why, under the ethos of mutuality, the profit share allocated to PPS members added up to 6.88 billion rand for 2025. It's also why more than 150,000 top graduate professionals choose SA's only financial services provider focused exclusively on their needs. Visit pps.co.za today and experience how mutuality can add up for you. PPS is a licensed life insurer, controlling company, and authorized FSP. Profit share allocations depend on PPS's operating and investment performance.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Many of us take taking a deep breath for granted. But for some infants with RSV, every breath is a battle. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
That's Kefense, before she got naked. Kefense's premium went up twice last year, and she was more confused than when her ex said, "I need to find myself," and then found somebody else. So Kefense got naked. She got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Good for you, Kefense. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
This is EWN.
President Ramaphosa gears to address the nation and SAPO prepares to exit business rescue. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin in the capital where President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to address the nation at the Union Buildings shortly. He'll be joined by Acting Police Minister Firoz Kochalia. The briefing comes amid several reports of alleged corruption within the police service, with at least 13 officers, including National Commissioner Fani Masemola, implicated. Masemola made a brief appearance in the Pretoria Magistrates Court earlier this week, facing 4 counts of violating the Public Finance Management Act. This relates to a controversial 360 million rand police tender that was regularly awarded to alleged tender tycoon Vusmusi Ket Matlala. The SAPS officials are accused of fraud, corruption and money laundering on the awarding of the tender, which Matlala would later be flagged for. The matter was postponed to next month, where the disgraced commissioner will appear alongside his subordinates and Matlala in the dock. While Masemola is the most senior officer to be charged in this case, he remains the country's top cop, with a decision on his status expected after his appearance. The Democratic Alliance in Ekurhuleni says it plans to bring an urgent motion for the immediate suspension of embattled Ekurhuleni Municipal Manager Kagiso Lerutla. The party held a demonstration outside the Boksburg Magistrates Court earlier, where disgraced DMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, along with Lerutla, are currently applying to be released on bail. The pair, arrested at the weekend, are facing charges of corruption, fraud and defeating the ends of justice in relation to a 2019 case. They are accused of colluding to get an impersonator to attend a speeding court appearance on behalf of Lerutla. The DA's mayoral candidate in Ekurhuleni, Katuchelo Rasilingwane, says Lerutla, who's been granted special leave, should have instead been suspended.
We are still calling for the executive mayor to suspend him so that there could be proper investigation that are taking place and the municipality can be protected, because you cannot have a city manager that has a questionable character, just simply taking leave, because a special leave is just taking leave and not accounting.
In the National Assembly, after 3 years of being under business rescue, the South African Post Office is preparing to be handed back to its board and shareholders. However, the Post Office says its future is dependent on funding for it to remain sustainable post the business rescue process, which restructured the business and saw thousands of retrenchments. SAPO officials briefed Parliament's Communications and Digital Technologies Committee today on its annual performance plan. Babala Ndenza reports.
The Post Office has been under business rescue since July 2023, following years of mismanagement. The rescue process was led by joint practitioners Anuj Ruplal and Juanita Damans, who will be stepping away from the entity in due course. Acting CEO Fatima Ghani says a key dependence in the post-business rescue process will be funding.
However, it still accounts for funding. As we go through the slides, you will see there's still a key dependency on funding to enable it to make investments.
She says the entity's performance plan incorporates a business that is out of business rescue.
The business rescue team are transitioning out of their roles as we're working towards a state of readiness to hand the business back to a board of directors and the shareholder.
She says the post office still has a very strong property portfolio, which will be monetized as part of the plan. Babala Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
The battle lines between the ANC and its alliance partner, the SACP, have been drawn, while the ANC issued letters to dual members today requiring them to declare their allegiance ahead of the local government polls. The SACP says it won't be acceding to the demand. Both parties have held separate briefings to clarify their positions following the SACP's decision to contest elections independently. The ANC is warning that those in leadership positions who fail to respond to its letter can face being stripped stripped of their jobs. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula has today read dual members the Riot Act if they don't respond to his missive within the next 10 days.
Should you decide to ignore this communication and you are found to be campaigning for any other political party outside the ANC, we will take steps.
The directive puts the SACP in a difficult position, given it also has two ministers in government, Mineral Resources and Petroleum Minister Gwede Mantashe and Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela.
If you are in the executive, at local government or serving in any position of influence, including deployment, we will take steps, including removal from those particular positions.
SACP General Secretary Solima Payela says the ANC's directive is akin to demanding subordination from the SACP. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And in Tanzania, the main opposition party, Chadema, says a report into election violence that killed hundreds of people is an attempt to whitewash the current regime's crimes. The party says everything is a cover-up and that the government's report is all designed to conceal the thousands of people that were killed by security forces. According to AFP, a commission of inquiry reported today that only 518 people were killed in protests and violence around the election in October last year, without saying who was responsible. President Samia Suluhu Hassan was declared the winner of the October 29th polls with 98% of the vote after key opposition figures were barred from running. Gold's trading at $4,726.18 an ounce. The rand's at 16.50 to the dollar, at 22.27 to the pound, at 19.29 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.20 a barrel.
In the traffic, brace yourself for those peak time delays on the N3 south from the Betlu interchange, as well as on the M1 south from the Killarney Bends to the Crown interchange.
And in your sport, Sia Kolisi returns from calf injury to make the bench for a potential 50th Sharks cap. Proteas woman target improved fielding performance after 9-wicket success over India, and Scott Parker says he remains proud of Burnley despite their relegation from the Premier League.
A look at your weather. A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 11 degrees and peak at highs of 15. Pretoria is at 12 and 16. Vereeniging's at 11, also reaching highs of 16 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to address the nation at the Union Buildings shortly, joined by Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes past 4 on 702 Drive. The TV screens in front of me show a podium with a South African flag on either side. We've seen that President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived at the Union Buildings, as has Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia. With the Madlanga Commission as background, we're expecting the announcement the President is about to make will be something of real consequence. We're going to bring that to you as soon as it begins. 702 Drive. Let's, though, quickly update you on what's happening in the traffic.
EWN Traffic.
Peak time delays starting to take shape. What do they look like?
Indeed, thank you, John. So if you are leaving Sandton and traveling on the M1 South particularly, you can expect those peak time delays from the Killarney Bends to the Crown interchange with about a 20-minute delay. In the opposite direction, the M1 North is also heavily backed up. This is between Ethel Oaklands Road and Woodmead Drive. And lastly, the N3 South from the Betlu interchange is also moving really slowly as you head to Bedford View. Likewise, if you come across any other traffic, please do send us a voice note on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
That's Liesel, before she got naked. Liesel checked her insurance premium and got angrier than a time a teenager called her Tani. So Liesel got naked and got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds, all on the Naked app. There we go, Liesel. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. Real reviews by real people. Today's testimonial comes from Jeff in Kempton Park. Now, Jeff seems to be a man of very few words. We've asked him to use his few words to tell us what he thinks of our flame-grilled peri-peri full chicken with any two sharing sides for $2.83. Jeff?
Nice.
Well, there you have it. When the meal is such a mouthful, you really only need a few words, I guess. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
702 family, we value what you think and we want to hear it face to face. This Thursday and Friday, we're opening our studio doors to 702 landers who'd like to share their thoughts on the station. Your feedback, your ideas, they all matter to us. Everyone who comes through will get a full studio tour and see where the 702 magic is created. If you would like to join us, send an email to contact@702.co.za.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, so we're just getting some news, and this will obviously be confirmed shortly once President Cyril Ramaphosa takes to the podium. I don't know if he'll be immediately accompanied by Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia. I suspect they'll speak in some kind of sequence and then probably hopefully take questions together, because the assembled media, including our own Khumotso Modise from EWN, will, have some questions that they most certainly and definitely want to ask. But one bit of news that is coming out is apparently Acting Minister Kachalia confirmed that a new acting National Police Commissioner will be appointed. It's a major story. It's a story, the exact details of which we don't actually have yet, because we're still waiting for the president to deliver that address. That should begin any moment now. Big story of the day, there's no doubt about that, but there are other stories that we will be covering, depending, of course, on how long this whole press briefing takes and depending on what exactly comes out of it. But our intention is certainly at 10 to 5 to catch up with what's happening in the conflicts in and around Iran. We'll be talking to Professor James Kerr-Lindsay, international relations expert. We have set that up for 10 to 5. We're mindful that you do like to talk about other things other than the breaking news, and we did ask you if there were any sounds that reminded you of way back in your life, your childhood, or perhaps an earlier part of your life, even if you were by then a teenager or an early 20 by then. As we wait for the president to begin, let's just catch up with what some of you sent us.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Afternoon, Tate John. O'Brien Fosloras. John, it's rather very much disappointing from our government, the president. They are scheduling a briefing at 4 o'clock. Now, you know what we are supposed to do? Just to this weekly letters of his. He was just supposed to write on this weekly updates of his, and then we know what's happening. And why am I saying so? Because they're going to be late. That is the number one resident of the country. He doesn't know how to keep time. Didn't he write exam during his days? If exam starts at 8 o'clock, you are not there, they close the doors. So he must start exactly at 4 o'clock. We are tired of this thing. COVID is over, where we have to wait for him to tell us something that doesn't make sense. Thank you, John.
Good day, John. Regarding the cricketing broadcasting rights, I think we can blame CSA through their bad management. I think money's flowing away from cricket, and it's due to the bad management of CSA. Thanks, Joe.
Hi, John. My nostalgic sound was sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog. Roof. Then you knew it was a good movie.
Hi, John. I'm a farm boy. I grew up in like the rural areas, and there's nothing that just takes me back like farm noises, basically chickens in the morning, cow sounds, the bells on their necks. I mean, when I hear those sounds, I just feel like, wow, I'm home. There's peace. Unlike here, where when you wake up, all you hear is taxis beeping, passing by, and yeah, Maremo and Soshanguve.
Yeah, let me just respond to that voice note on the cricket rights and the fact that there isn't a buy yet for what is a really terrific marquee series between us and England. If you go to an article on the Guardian website written by Matt Hughes, it makes absolutely clear that none of this has to do with anything Cricket South Africa has done. The complexity of the story is considerable. We hope later to talk to Ngobile Ndlovu, who's with Cash and Sport Research and Advisory, an entity that he founded. It's churn going on in the English TV broadcasting environment, and some of that involves larger players like Paramount's Skydance and Warner Brothers Discovery, who are buying into companies like TNT. I also think the assertion that money is flowing away from South African cricket is simply not borne out by the facts. The books have got better and better over the years. SA20 has been a fantastic money spinner. It's had spin-off both for cricket and for people in and around the game. So to look at something that is happening in another part of the world and use it as a stick to beat Cricket South Africa with, I think is probably, not probably, I think it is absolutely unfair. Hopefully we can get Ngobile and Ndlovu a little bit later in the show. As I say, a lot of what we're doing in flux today because of what's happening at the union buildings, or in this particular instance, not yet happening. 7:02, it's 4:17.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
My show is about getting you informed by the time you get to the office, your place of business, or wherever you need to go. Hopefully you have a fairly good idea what's happening in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, and around the world. We want you to be part of those water cooler conversations, and you will be part of those conversations because you'll be a better informed citizen. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is the ecosystem that we have built, the community. It's all about connection, because we may be different, but ultimately the people you talk to and the people you hear are facing issues just like you.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m.
Rugby fans, get ready for a day the whole family will love. The Fidelity Secure Drive Lions roar into action this Saturday at Ellis Park, taking on Connacht in the Vodacom URC. And it's the kids' takeover round. Expect loads of fun, entertainment, activities, and best of all, kids under 18 get in free. Big hits, big vibes, and big smiles for the whole family. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at ticketpro.co.za.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Let's go straight to the union buildings. Here is the president.
In the State of the Nation address, if you all recall, I said that our primary focus this year is on stepping up the fight against organized crime, corruption, and violence. For this fight to be successful, I said it is vital that our law enforcement agencies are capable, ethical, and effective. It is vital that they have the confidence and the trust and the support of the people of South Africa. We have worked over the period quite hard to rebuild our law enforcement agencies and security services in the wake of state capture, to restore the credibility and integrity of the police. We have taken measures to uncover malfeasance and investigate allegations of wrongdoing within the ranks of the police and other institutions. These measures have been necessary to ensure accountability and to devise remedial action to prevent the abuse of office and the theft of public resources. It is in pursuit of these objectives that I established a commission of inquiry. This is led by Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga to investigate allegations of police collusion in organized criminal activity. The work of the commission, as we all know, is ongoing, and we look forward to its recommendations. And as we all know, we've given the commission a tight time frame, and we're very pleased that they are keeping to that tight time frame and they will deliver their report. In all these efforts, we have promoted respect for the rule of law and also upheld the principle that law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies must be able to act without fear, favor, or prejudice. It is this principle that informs our response to the appearance in the Magistrates' Court earlier this week of the South African Police Service National Commissioner, General Fani Masemula, on charges of contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. In consideration of the seriousness of these charges and the critical role that the National Commissioner of Police plays in leading the fight against crime, I have agreed with General Masemula that he be deemed to be on precautionary suspension pending the conclusion of the case. To ensure stability and continuity in the South African police force, I have appointed Lieutenant General Puleng Dimpane, who is standing right next to me here on the left-hand side, as the acting National Commissioner of Police. Lieutenant General Dimpane is currently the Divisional Commissioner for Financial Management Services of the South African Police Service and has a long and distinguished career both in the South African Police Service and in other public institutions entities. Having been in the police service for close on to 2 decades, she has extensive experience in policing, in strategic management, in financial management, and in governance. Lieutenant Dimpane has a reputation for professionalism as well as for integrity. And what's more pleasing, she is one of the key women who are in the leadership of our police service. I am confident that she has the qualities and the standing necessary to provide effective leadership to the South African Police Service during this challenging period. Lieutenant Dimpane will be supported by a strong team of experienced and dedicated police leadership throughout the country. She will lead a police service that, notwithstanding substantial challenges that it is facing at the moment, is comprised of men and women who are committed to serving the police of this country for the good cause of justice. A key area of attention for the acting National Commissioner and the police leadership as a whole is to urgently address weaknesses in the procurement system for goods and services in the police service. In the report of the Zondo Commission and through the proceedings of the Madlanga Commission, procurement has been identified as the source of corruption, also abuse of office and instability within the police service. The Minister of Police will support the work that the South African Police Service leadership must now undertake to insulate procurement processes from any form of manipulation. This work will feed into the broader restructuring of procurement in the public sector that was announced in SONA. The acting National Commissioner will be expected to sustain the momentum of our national fight against crime and corruption. There has been a reduction of contact crime over the past 2 financial years, largely due to the focus by the police on police visibility. Focus initiatives to address gender-based violence and femicide, as well as the implementation of the integrated crime and prevention strategy, remain central to our ongoing fight against the scourge of violent crime. The Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster has made great progress towards the adoption of an organized crime strategy, which, as you well know, is going to be led and is being led by General Mkhwanazi, for which significant resources have been allocated from the departments in the cluster, as well as from the Criminal Asset Recovery account. Important steps have been taken with regard to organized crime, including gang violence, illegal firearms, illegal mining, drug trafficking, as well as kidnappings. These efforts have been strengthened by collaboration between the South African Police Service as well as the South African National Defence Force. The South African Police Task Team investigating matters arising from the Madlanga Commission has already made significant progress, leading to a number of arrests. We commend the team and wish it a great deal of success going forward. As we embarked on the task of rebuilding our law enforcement agencies and security services, we knew that it would not be an easy process. It would actually be a very difficult undertaking. We've been guided at all times by the need for transparency, accountability, and the respect for due legal process. It is understandably a cause of great concern for all South Africans that the National Commissioner of Police is in court facing the charges that he is facing. However, we should not allow the development such as this to weaken our determination or diminish our ability to fight crime and corruption. We should not allow anything to destabilize the police service or even undermine the morale of those entrusted to protect our people. We must hold firm to the values of our Constitution, and in this case, as in all other cases, allow the law to take its own course. Minister Kachalia and Acting National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Dimpane, will be holding a briefing soon to outline further actions that will be taken to stabilize the South African Police Service and strengthen its work. I wish General Dimpane and the entire South African Police Service leadership well in the whole process of rebuilding our police service and wish them all the luck that they will need in the fight against crime. That is the announcement we wanted to make, and it is about the appointment of the Acting National Commissioner of Police, General Dimpane. Congratulations, General. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, as we've agreed, the President has another engagement which you're all aware of, so we need to get him out of here at a decent time. So I know you've caucused who will ask the questions, so I'll be led by your show of hands. Let's start with Ziyanda and then follow with Thulasizwe. President will take those first two, and thereafter we'll take the next two. Ziyanda?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. President and the National
Acting National Police Commissioner and the Acting Police Minister. And Mr. President, that's the note I want to start off with. You have a lot of actings currently. When are you making a decision regarding the Police Minister? You still have Senzo Mkhunu on a leave of absence. That decision lies with you. But also, how long is it going to take for you to make a decision? Are you contemplating instituting an inquiry to look into the fitness of Fani Masemola to hold office? But also, Mr. President, what do you make of the charges that Masemola is facing? There's been lots of commentary around this. Do you believe that it's worthy of him actually being in the dock with criminals like Vusumuzi Kat Matlala? Just your thoughts on the nature of the charge in light of, and the context here is, of course, what we've heard at the Commission of Inquiry, that there is a battle with IDAC and there's fighting amongst the law enforcement agencies. Thank you.
3 questions there.
Not 3 questions, it's a speech.
Don't worry. You are safer with me, Vincent.
You're a lawyer.
President, Minister, thank you so much for that. Mr. President, the only addition I would put to my colleague Zianda's question about Minister Mkhunu is, at the end of the day, this is a political decision, Mr. President. You may have seen and heard what you've seen and heard at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. That has to do with criminality or otherwise, or lack of a link, etc. Ultimately, we're asking you to answer for the political decision that you have the wherewithal to make. That's me just adding on to Zian. Then my question is, my question, Mr. President, is why should South Africans not view the move you are making now as a rearranging of the decks, as putting out a fire that has arisen because the police commissioner is now appearing, as opposed to addressing systems? How long should South Africans be patient with you as a government while you keep saying that you're making strides to fix the SAPS? We can take you all the way back to the recommendations of the Farlam Commission of Inquiry as they relate to strengthening the institution, where we find ourselves on a daily basis asking ourselves, who are these generals? How did they get here? How did they get entrusted with such responsibility? And I suggest, Mr. President, that it goes back to failing to address the institution. And why should South Africans not view this appointment as, yet again, we're putting out fires?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. We'll take that first 5 from the 2.
if I'll remember the speech that were delivered. No, as I said, South Africans have reason to be concerned about the stability and the effectiveness of our police service. And a number of other South Africans have also asked whether it was even necessary, for instance, to have the Madlanga Commission. And others have even said the Zondo Commission was entirely a useless effort. And I'd like to correct those who think so and say that all these commissions have contributed a great deal to helping us to rebuild, to stabilize the police service, and to repair the damage that has been done over quite a while. And including the Farlam Commission, which identified areas of great weakness when it comes to certain areas of policing, like public policing and all that. So all that, since that commission reported, has been attended to. We have now set up a dedicated team of police who are just focused on, for instance, public policing and many other issues that the Farlam Commission also recommended. And with regard to Madlanga, the Zondo Commission, much has been achieved. I mean, one of the things that people have said is that we spent R1 billion, and what did it achieve? It achieved a great deal. We've recovered almost 16 billion rand that was taken out of state coffers illegally. But in the course of doing so, we've also passed laws. We've sought to fix a number of systems. And the investigations are ongoing on the malfeasance that the Zondo Commission identified. So it can never be said that that commission too was a waste of time and a waste of money. Similarly, with the Madlanga Commission, the Madlanga Commission was absolutely necessary. Had we not appointed the Madlanga Commission, the malfeasance that we are now uncovering would not have come out when it did. And that has really assisted us a great deal. And it has also enabled us to immediately embark on processes such as vetting. We are now vetting everyone who is in the top hierarchy of the police. And that system of vetting in itself is an important restructuring, rebuilding process. And now, with the processes that are now underway, yes, affecting a national commissioner once again, that means that we've got to strengthen the processes, for instance, that has led to the preferring of the charges against him, for instance, in the procurement space. The PFMA violations, yes, they are criminal in nature, but they are also on procurement and financial. It is only the court of law that will determine whether there is criminal intent, criminal guilt, or whatever. I cannot stand here and say, yes, they are. And in full discussions with General Masemula, I said, you will need to be on the sidelines while this matter is determined by the legal process. And there would be a choice of whether we do a board of inquiry or the criminal process. And the two obviously are different processes, and we've agreed that let the criminal process get underway. And in the intervening period, he is put on suspension on a precautionary basis whilst we get General Dimpane to act in that position. Okay, you may well say, we've got too many people acting in positions. Yes, we do, and we are going to address that specific issue. Because there is an inherent weakness in people just continuing to act. But right now, we are dealing with a problem that has befallen us, and we must address it, and we are addressing it as effectively as possible. It would have been irresponsible to leave the position unfilled, but now we have filled the position, and the work will be done. And the good thing, of course, is that having spoken to a number of these generals in the hierarchy of the police, is that they will all rally behind General Dimpane, support her, and work with her. And they will remain focused on the areas that they are involved in. And I expect that we will up the tempo now when it comes to fighting crime, when it comes to real focus on what needs to be done. Much as all this could affect the morale of the police, we will be doing everything we can, and the Minister and the Acting National Commissioner will be addressing these matters and addressing the police as well. And I would like South Africans to now know that we are taking action, we are moving forward. The police service needs to be rebuilt, it needs to be repaired, and it needs to be made fit and proper to be able to fight crime on an ongoing basis. We are on a journey. Yes, it's been debilitating, it's been very, very heartbreaking to hear all the things that we keep hearing in the commission. But we must go on, and we must make sure that we appoint people who are going to do the work, and people who are professional, and people who will have been properly vetted, and people of integrity. Thank you. I've answered all 5 questions.
Yes, you have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a round of questioning for President Cyril Ramaphosa. We understand there is going to be a further media briefing given by the new acting head of the South African Police Service. She is Lieutenant General Puleng Dimpane. Acting Police Minister will be Feroz Kachalia will also be involved in that briefing as well. The other crucial part of the news from this press conference is that the incumbent the National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola has been placed on precautionary suspension as his matter that is before the courts unfolds. More on that still to come, I would think, on 702 Drive. But for a moment, it's 20 to 5. Let's focus on a few other things.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
So would you say that Africa is still seen as a mission ground with a leader of that stature coming through to visit?
While Africa remains to a certain extent a missionary territory, however, it is no longer the same as it was 5 decades ago, because we are now seeing a turnaround in terms of the work of evangelization. There is no doubt in our mind, and there is data to prove my claim, that Catholicism in the African continent is on the rise. And this papal visit is a testimony to that. It is an acknowledgement of that reality.
Associate Secretary General of the SACBC, Father Nkanka Nkunu.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
We all know that hustle, trying and yet battling to reach the right customers. That's how a lot of businesses start. And your marketing budget can only take you so far. With MTN Business, you don't have to rely on just one channel anymore. You can reach your customers wherever they are through WhatsApp marketing, bulk SMSs, and digital tools. So instead of battling, reach the right customers with MTN digital tools. Let's talk shop. Click on mtn.co.za/business or visit an MTN store today. MTN Business, Africa's leading enabler of connectivity and converged solutions.
Everything starts with a choice. For PPS, that choice was clear: to provide graduate professionals with support to create, protect, and accelerate their wealth. Because when graduate professionals support one another, progress multiplies. And together, those choices added up to a record-breaking 6.88 billion rand in profit share allocated to our members with qualifying life risk products for 2025.
At PPS, we know the whole adds up to more than the sum of its parts. Visit pps.co.za to see how it adds up for you. PPS. Success is better shared. PPS is a licensed life insurer, controlling company, and authorized FSP. Profit share allocations depend on PPS's operating and investment performance.
In the world of finance, manufacturing, and mining, automating business processes is a crucial factor in stimulating an organization's growth and bottom line. Zoe Projects and Consulting, a specialized process engineering and automation firm, offers comprehensive data and business systems analysis to optimize your company's processes, to save time, reduce costs, and better efficiency. Go to zoeprojects.co.za and get in touch with Zoe Projects and Consulting today.
EWN Sport.
Just to say that press conference is continuing. Khomotso Modise, our EWN colleague, is listening to every word. We'll be talking to her after 5 to get her summary of what's exactly is going on. But at 17 minutes to 5, let's just catch up with the very latest sports news. Anthony Teixeira, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. We'll start with rugby, where there's a boost for the Sharks as they look to keep the United Rugby Championship playoff hopes alive. Springbok captain Siya Kolisi returning from a calf injury to make the bench in what will likely be his 50th cap for the Durban club against Edinburgh Friday evening. Well, according to reports, Ospreys wing Luke Morgan will escape punishment for his actions, which led to Ethan Hooker's dislocated shoulder. Morgan dived on the Springbok wing after he had crossed the line and brought the ball down for his try in the Sharks' 21-17 loss. It's being reported that the citing officer involved in that review found the incident and Morgan's actions to have failed to meet the red card threshold, despite what appeared to be a shoulder barge in that tackle. In football, TS Galaxy have parted ways with their coach Adnan Begonovic. Despite making the Nedbank Cup final, they've struggled in the Betway Premiership, having lost 9 of their last 10 league games and dropped to 12th on the log, just 6 points off a bottom club, Orbit College. We had a second relegated side from the Premier League this week. Burnley will be joining Wolves in the Championship next season after they suffered a 1-0 loss to Man City. Manager Scott Parker says his pride in the squad remains.
I'm sad and I'm upset, and I'm disappointed with the way the season's gone, of course, and tonight brings a curtain down on that, and I'm obviously sad for that. But I think my riding factor is it's a group that absolutely give everything, and they do that every single day, and I can't fault them for that, and I never will fault them for that.
Well, that result has also set the Citizens atop of the table with a superior goal difference compared to Arsenal. In cricket, the Proteas women took an unassailable 3-0 lead in the T20 series with India after claiming a 9-wicket win. And the Mumbai Indians are batting first against the Chennai Super Kings. This is as they have reached 91 for 2 after 8 overs. Samson there on 45 alongside Dubey, who's on 5. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's get you out onto the roads. Well, you already are out on the roads. Let's get you home from the roads you're on, which may be roads that you don't want to be on because you'd like to be home or somewhere else. In other words, traffic with Khumotso Munyai. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. If you're heading towards Bedford View, traffic is heavily backed up on the N3 South from the Batlu interchange, with traffic conditions only easing up just after the Kilulis interchange. If you are leaving Sandton going to Midrand, the M1 North is sluggish from Allendale Road to New Road, and the N1 South is moving slowly with those peak hour delays between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. You can also expect some heavy peak time delays on the M1 South from the Kilani Bends to the Crown interchange, while in the opposite direction, the M1 North remains backed up between Ethel Oaklands Road and Woodmead Drive. Look out for 40 traffic lights in Edenvale at the N3 and Modderfontein, in Edenvale at the R25 and Old Johannesburg, as well as in Rand Park Ridge at the N1 South and Beyers Nodia. Pointsmen are on duty, and I'll have the next update at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. It's now 14 minutes to 5. Still to come on the show. We're going to be focusing our attention now on matters much further afield. As I said, that press conference with the president is still going on. There'll be a subsequent one with the acting Minister of Police, Feroz Kachalia, and with the new acting National Commissioner of Police, Lieutenant General Puleng Dimpane. We'll wrap all of that for you in the half hour after the 5 o'clock news. But our attention focuses now on the Middle East, on the Gulf, on Iran and the conflict that has surrounded that country for a good number of weeks now. What exactly is happening? That's a question we're going to put in rather more specific terms to our next guest. And we say welcome to international relations expert, Professor James Kerr-Lindsay. Prof, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time again. I'm just looking at the latest, certainly, on President Donald Trump's Truth Social platform. I know that that's not always an absolute guide as to what the U.S. is doing, but he does make 2 points. One is he says the United States has, quote, total control of the Strait of Hormuz, which I would have thought would be a matter of some debate. But I think what's very important that he said earlier is that any ship that is seen laying mines in the strait would be subject to U.S. naval boat attack. Is that a significant escalation, or do we need to wait for it to happen to draw that conclusion?
Well, I mean, in reality, I think if the United States were to start attacking sort of Iranian mine layers, I mean, in the context of everything that we've seen happen already, I mean, that would just be a relatively minor development. I mean, the United States has already said that it's destroyed large parts of the Iranian Navy. I think the bigger thing that comes out of this is that if Iran still has that capability to be laying mines after Trump has sort of quite publicly said that it's annihilated the Iranian Navy, I mean, it just becomes another example of where he's said something to the wider world, and then it becomes patently obvious just very soon afterwards that just has no bearing on reality as it goes. So I think, this is all part and parcel of Trump making these threats after he's supposed to have dealt with the threat that he's making the threat against, if you see what I mean.
No, I do, exactly. So, I mean, what are we going to do with the nuclear capability that was destroyed 6 months ago? I mean, we're very much on that loop. Let's step away then from what can be a very kind of noisy area of analysis, i.e. what the president says on his social media platform, and ask you this. I mean, is there anything going on that holds any promise in regard to peace talks and similar interventions?
I mean, as things stand, it would seem no. And I think, there's a couple of elements of that. I think from what we can gather, I mean, the Iranian side is also in disarray. And I was just talking with somebody else about all of this. And I think, it's a very difficult position the Iranians are in, because there will be those who will say, we can never give in to the United States as a matter of principle. I think there will be those who will be saying, listen, we are taking a real pummeling. We have done remarkably well against the United States. This is meant to be the largest military power in the world, and we've survived, and we've rather humiliated them. But maybe now is time to cut a deal. And then there will be those who sort of fall midway between the two positions, which aren't intrinsically opposed to doing a deal with the United States, but actually say, you know what, we could get so much more out of this, and now is not the time to be giving in. So it looks like there's an interesting debate going on within the Iranian leadership, and of course, we have to bear in mind that significant parts of that Iranian leadership have been killed. So we're not dealing with people that in the past would have had supreme authority and a very clear position, and we don't even know with Supreme Leader Khamenei, what his exact health situation is, or whether he's in a position to be making decisions. So it does seem there's an element of disarray in all of this. And then, of course, I think that, you will be seeing competing elements within the US administration between the hardliners who will want to push forward and continue the battle against Iran. And I'm sure that there are those in Israel who feel the same. And then those who also say, well, look, but we are being humiliated. But not only that, but this is doing tremendous damage to the US economy, and it's doing massive damage to the economy of allies. So I think the problem we're facing at the moment is that there is this multitude of voices and different attitudes pulling both Iran and the United States in very, very different directions.
I want to ask you this. I mean, who has the more difficult domestic situation? Because on the one hand, in the United States, they've got midterm elections coming up. It's a long way off, but there seems to be significant levels of concern now within the Republican Party about whether this is actually going to undermine their ability to retain hold of both houses, the Congress and the Senate, or Iran, which really doesn't have those problems of a lively democracy, but nevertheless appears to be divided in the ways that you describe. I mean, who's going to find it harder to kind of get the nation behind them, either willingly or otherwise?
I mean, great question, and I think you really hit on the fundamental difference between the two cases. I mean, Iran, in many ways, I think that this conflict will have strengthened the ruling regime.
Right.
That they weren't knocked out. And remembering when all this started, Trump sort of issued a very open call for the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow the regime, saying this is your best chance you're ever going to have to do it. But of course, that completely neglected the situation on the ground, and the fact that in the middle of a war, people aren't going to start taking to the street when bombs are falling around them. And also it looks like the Iranian regime has used this conflict to crack down on what remains of dissent. Remembering, of course, in January, we had these massive protests that were effectively sort of, quashed only on the street, but those executed. So in some ways, the regime is probably stronger, but is weakened in terms of infighting within it. But I think the United States, you raise a really good question, because Trump looks like he is going to take a battering in the midterms. And the real fear that they will be having is that if Congress falls to the Democrats, then it's going to start raising some very, very uncomfortable questions. Now, many wonder, and it looks unlikely at the moment, that even with a sweeping Democrat victory, they will be able to get control of the Senate, which is what you really need for impeachment proceedings against Trump to force him from power. You need, effectively at least 60, if not 70 senators in order to see a successful impeachment. But even with the House falling to the Democrats, you can launch impeachment proceedings, and that will open up a lot of very, very uncomfortable questions for Trump about the utter corruption that we've been seeing with the administration. So I think there will also be many MAGA who are feeling very, very disappointed with Trump. So I think in terms of it really does open up a very interesting question about what this has done for both countries. I think most would probably judge that overall Iran has emerged a victor in this. It's survived, whereas the United States has lost simply because it was meant to be the world's great superpower, the one and only, or maybe China's sort of coming up and chasing hard on its heels, more so now, and it's failed miserably.
Let's talk about China, because a specific question, Prof, just to conclude, about China and a possible role they might play, and then a segue into a broader question as to whether there are other actors and agencies that might make some kind of difference. I mean, China first, and then does anyone else have the ear of the United States, or are they doing this with blinkers? I know I'm mixing metaphors because blinkers are on your eyes, not your ears, but I'm sure you know what I mean.
No, absolutely. And I think, what has been fascinating in all of this is, the effects that this has obviously had on a lot of United States allies. But, China is obviously feeling the effects of this. I think China would like to see this war over. But on the other hand, for Beijing, they must be looking at this in rather the same way. I mean, for Vladimir Putin, who has emerged in many ways as a winner from all of this. So one could say at the start of it, well, he lost Khamenei, who was an ally. But I think, Russia knew that it couldn't step in, it couldn't help Iran, it wasn't militarily strong enough. But I think Putin would have been absolutely delighted at the rise of oil prices, especially with the Russian economy seemingly as weak as it, reports suggested it is.
Yes.
Beijing won't be happy about the way that this has disrupted international economics. But I should imagine that, again, many in Beijing are looking at this and saying, this is hurting us economically, but we can weather it. And ultimately, what this is doing is that every single day that passes, this is just weakening the United States. It's showing their weakness on the world stage. It's alienating them from allies who are paying an economic price and are fed up with this war. So I think Beijing is probably looking at this and thinking, economically not great, but politically wonderful. And then, of course, various other European countries and things. This is just cementing the view that Trump is completely and utterly inept. And what I wonder is that what we're seeing with Europeans is that whereas in the past they were bending over backwards to try and accommodate Trump, and sort of doing whatever he said, humiliating themselves.
Yes.
The evidence seems to be that they're just turning away and just sort of looking at Trump and thinking, this is a pathetic regime. Why are we so scared of it, and why have we been trying to accommodate it when it's shown absolutely no loyalty to us and help and everything? So I think in every possible way, this has been a disaster for the United States, and it's standing on the world stage.
Thanks so much, Professor James Kerr-Lindsay, joining us with his thoughts on what's going on in the Gulf. No obvious signs that peace talks are being picked up with any kind of urgency or earnestness, but it's a fast-changing situation. As it shifts, we'll try and let you know what's going on. 702 Drive.
The Clement Maniatella Show on 702.
The Clement Maniatella Show is about everything. It's about current affairs, family matters, the work environment, your health and wellness, relationship and sex issues that couples face. It's about learning, helping each other, healing, teaching. It's about life in essence. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is that we are quite intentional about doing life together. We're always pulling through for each other, learning from each other, always teaching each other. We're not scared to disagree, but also we're brave enough to be vulnerable with each other. We just care about each other, and I think that is priceless.
The Clement Maniatella Show, weekdays from 9 to 12 p.m.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD. And we want you to join us and be part of something that will be truly special. Entries open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people for our Jozi. Babize Bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Did you know that you are entitled to buy a new, demo, or used car without a service or a maintenance plan? You can also use an independent workshop for all servicing and maintenance needs without your warranty being automatically voided. Independent workshops are entitled to all technical info and parts needed to work on your vehicle, so you can shop around for the best price and service. Right to Repair. It's your choice. Visit righttorepair.org.za.
This is EWN.
National SAPS Commissioner suspended as President Ramaphosa appoints acting police boss, and Iran blames the US over collapsed peace talks. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. We begin with breaking news. Embattled National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has been placed on precautionary suspension after being implicated in the contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement at the Union Buildings this afternoon during a special briefing. The President has appointed SAPS CFO Buleng Dimpane as the country's acting police commissioner in the interim.
Lieutenant General Dimpane is currently the Divisional Commissioner for Financial Management Services of the South African Police Service and has a long and distinguished career both in the South African Police Service and in other public institutions entities.
Masemola faces criminal charges related to the irregular awarding of a multi-million rand tender to Medicare 24, a company belonging to alleged tender tycoon Vusmusi Ket Matlala. The president says today's announcement is in response to Masemola's appearance before the Pretoria Magistrates Court this week.
In consideration of the seriousness of these charges and the critical role that the National Commissioner of Police plays in leading the fight against crime, I have agreed with General Masemola that he be deemed to be on precautionary suspension pending the conclusion of the case.
EWN reporter Khomotso Modise was at the briefing and joins us live on the line. Khomotso, the president has spoken very confidently of the new acting commissioner amid a dark cloud hanging over SAPS.
That's right, Mikey. The president has given a bit of General Buleng Dimpane's profile as she stood right next to him throughout the briefing here at the Union Buildings. The president has highlighted that she's been in the service for 2 decades and has extensive service and experience in policing and strategic management as well as governance. He also says Dimpane will be supported by an experienced police leadership. Now, General Dimpane's appointment comes as General Fani Masemola is on precautionary suspension as he's now before the courts as an accused, something that the president says is serious. President Cyril Ramaphosa says this is a decision that may be revisited as the legal process plays out. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, reporting live from the Union Buildings.
We move to the courts where the attorney for suspended Ekurhuleni Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi has denied the state's claim that Mkhwanazi is likely to interfere with witnesses and the ongoing investigation if released on bail. Mkhwanazi and City Manager Katlego Lerutla are applying for bail at the Boksburg Magistrates Court, where the case has been rolled over to tomorrow. The defense argued that the two have no reason to interfere with what it says is the state's only witness. The defense says that the case rests heavily on the testimony of a single accomplice witness, making it inherently fragile and unsafe without corroboration. The two accused are facing charges of fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
Defense teams have told the court the risk of the accused interfering with the state's case was speculative and not likely. It says the only possible witness in the case is one who may be required to give evidence under Section 204. This section provides for a witness to incriminate himself and others to avoid avoid prosecution.
If he in fact testifies, he will implicate himself in criminal misconduct. Your Worship is better aware than myself of the fact that a accomplice's witness or testimony should be treated with circumspection.
This follows the state's objection to the two senior officials being released on bail, arguing they will interfere with an investigation that's now at an advanced stage. Dimakato Leshoro, Eyewitness News at the Boksburg Magistrates Court.
We move to the capital where suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri says the request from implicated company Gubis 85 Solutions to guard its infrastructure came directly from the Water and Sanitation Department. It's been established at the Madlanga Commission that Gubis received preferential treatment when it came to the allocation of ad hoc security services. Testifying before the commission today, Phiri says he's not responsible for the company's preferential treatment. Thabiso Goba has more.
Part of Lebogang Phiri's job duties is to coordinate the deployment of security services to municipal sites. Phiri says in January 2025, he received an instruction from his superior to consult with the municipality's Water and Sanitation Department. The department had requested security personnel to some of its pump stations that had been vandalized.
Water and Sanitation Departments specifically mandated the use of Gubis 85 Solution Pty Ltd, citing that they were already utilizing this service provider services and refused to engage multiple different service providers for budgetary and administrative reasons. In fact, the department was already utilizing Gubis before I was even involved.
Phiri says he was not aware the department was already using security guards from Gubis 85 Solutions, saying the deployment was likely unlawful since he didn't sign off on it. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
After 3 years of being under business rescue, the South African Post Office is preparing to be handed back to its board and shareholders. However, the Post Office says its future is dependent on funding for it to remain sustainable post the business rescue process, which restructured the business and saw thousands of retrenchments. SAPO officials briefed Parliament's Communications and Digital Technologies Committee today on its annual performance plan. Babala Ndenza has more.
The Post Office has been under business rescue since July 2023, following years of mismanagement. The rescue process was led by joint practitioners Anuj Ruplal and Juanita Damans, who will be stepping away from the entity in due course. Acting CEO Fatima Ghani says a key dependence in the post-business rescue process will be funding.
However, it still accounts for funding. As we go through the slides, you will see there's still a key dependency on funding to enable it to make investments.
She says the entity's performance plan incorporates a business that is out of business rescue.
The business rescue team are transitioning out of their roles as we're working towards a state of readiness to hand the business back to a board of directors and the shareholder.
She says the Post Office still has a very strong property portfolio, which will be monetized as part of the plan. Babala Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
In the Middle East, senior Iranian officials have blamed Washington for stalled peace negotiations due to the U.S.'s naval blockade of the country's ports, adding that it will not consider opening the strait until America lifts the blockade. Iran has virtually blocked the virtual waterway since the start of a war with the U.S. and Israel, sharply driving up oil and gas prices and disrupting the global economy. The strait, through which 1/5 of the world's oil and gas passes in peacetime, has become a contentious point, with the U.S. imposing its own blockade, which Iran called a violation of the truce. There's been no formal extension of the ceasefire, which technically expired yesterday, and no plans have been announced for further talks. Meanwhile, Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it captured 2 foreign vessels in the waterway yesterday and opened fire on a third ship for violating maritime regulations, with the U.S. military also reportedly intercepting at least 3 Iranian-flagged tankers in Asian waters and is redirecting them away from their positions near India, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. Gold's trading at $4,733.07 an ounce. The rand's at 16.48 to the dollar, at 22.27 to the pound, at 19.30 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.74 a barrel.
In the traffic in Pretoria CBD, the slow-moving traffic in Hermanstad on Eskamphahlela Drive between the R80 and WF Nkomo streets, and in Monument Park, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R21 South heading towards the Flying Saucer interchange.
And in your sport, Siya Kolisi returns from calf injury to make the bench for a potential 50th Sharks cap. Proteas women target improved fielding performance after 9-wicket success over India, and Scott Parker says he remains proud of Burnley despite their relegation from the Premier League.
A look at your weather. A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 11 degrees and peak at highs of 15. Pretoria is at 12 and 16. Vereniging's at 11, also reaching highs of 16 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour, it's the breaking news coming out of Pretoria. Embattled National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has been placed on precautionary suspension after being implicated in the contravention of the Public Finance Management Act.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 10 minutes past 5. Great to have you with us on the show. Coming up, response to the press conference held by President Cyril Ramaphosa. The main news coming out of that, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola placed on precautionary suspension. His replacement, Lieutenant General Puleng Dimpane, has been appointed as acting police commissioner. All of this in the presence of somebody else who's acting, the acting police minister, Feroz Kachalia. We've been trying to get the acting minister on the show, possibly not for today, but it's something either this show or one of the other 702 shows will get for tomorrow. There's, of course, Aubrey Masango. He might beat all of us to that a little bit later. And there's the Money Show with Stephen Krutis as well. Whichever 702 show gets that all-important interview, we'll certainly share whatever comes out of that with you on Drive tomorrow. But coming up, we will be talking to Dr. Guy Lamb, crime and policing expert from Stellenbosch University, and we'll get updates in the bulletins from our EWN reporter colleague, Khumotso Modise, who was out at the Union Buildings for this press conference. Your thoughts on what you heard, if you were able to listen in either to our live feed or watch it on television, those please to 072 702 1702. I see a couple of you are responding already.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
What repair? What rebuild? What stabilize? Zondo Commission, that was, really worthwhile. They done absolutely squat on any commission. Not even tens of millions, hundreds of millions on these things, and they've done nothing. And he is putting out fires. He is a liar, a corrupt, thieving liar. Julie.
That is the announcement. I feel very undermined, John, by a president that has broken literally every financial rule we have out there, like every single one that we have out there. I've seen guys getting busted with 90,000 rand over Christmas when we know it's Mahali season. This dude had US dollars. And this guy is telling us that we should just hold tight while he steers the ship in a, less crooked direction. Because he's certainly not crooked, right? Like, he's not that. We can't say that. Jeez. This dude. Anyway, one of these days his clock runs out and it's going to be interesting to see if the next guy's going to send him to jail. I mean, we're heading there as a state anyway. But this guy would definitely deserve it. Like, from a rule of law perspective. We can't just choose our faves here.
702 Drive, keep your voice notes coming on 072 702 1702. 13 minutes past 5. Traffic before we get into some of the details coming out of the Union Buildings.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the latest with Khomotso Munya at 14 minutes past 5.
Thank you, John. We'll start in Soweto in Protea Glen. Traffic is heavily backed up on the N12 as you get closer to the R558. And on the M1, north is also quite backed up between Ethel Oaklands Road and Woodmead Drive as you approach Sandton. In the opposite direction, the M1 south remains a little sluggish from the Killarney Bends to the Crown interchange. In Pretoria CBD, there's also slow-moving traffic in Hermanstad on Eskamp Drive. This is between the R80 and WF Ngomo Street. And in Monument Park, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R21 South heading towards the Flying Saucer interchange. Likewise, if you come across any other traffic, please do send us that voice note on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Sitting in a traffic jam is as fun as hearing your boss say, quick follow-up meeting at 4:45 on a Friday. Not fun, but fortunately the OUTsurance pointsmen are on the roads, easing traffic congestion so everyone gets where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With OUTsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove, licensed insurer and FSP.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes on 702.
My show is about your money, and it's about how people have made their money. But it's also about what happened to your money today, what happened on the JSE, what's happening overseas. All of these things, all about the way in which people make their money, spend their money, use their money, and in so many ways, use their money to make more money for them. What I absolutely love about the 702 family and 702 land is the huge warmth of people, the generosity that they show. But I also absolutely love the hustle. Anyone in business is actually trying to improve the economy. They're trying to have an impact on all of us. And there's a go-getting attitude to 702 land that you don't see in so many other places. That's what I really love about 702 land. That getting together and doing something new, and in the process, making money.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes. Weekdays from 6 to 8 p.m.
This April, the Lyft Golden Ticket Hunt is back, and you have a shot at finding 150,000 Rand in flights across Cape Town, Durban, Joburg and Pretoria. Clues drop exclusively on Lyft socials, so you'll need to be quick. Watch closely, figure it out, and race to the location. Plus, every Friday, there's a digital ticket to be found, giving everybody a chance to play along. To join the hunt, visit lyft.co.za, follow the clues and get cracking. T's and C's apply.
Running a truck fleet business in this economy is tough. Fuel, maintenance, staff, the costs never stop. That's why I switched to My Way Business Insurance. Now I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. These savings go a long way to keeping my fleet on the move.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your trucks and buses. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
Sometimes all it takes to reshape the world and deliver better outcomes is a little unconventional thinking. Black Sheep Thinking, powered by Camissa Asset Management.
Think back to the year 1854. It's London, which is possibly the busiest city on earth at the time. But a deadly cholera outbreak began, and everybody thought cholera was spread through bad air, except for one doctor who thought the problem might lie elsewhere. His name, Dr. John Snow. One of the things that, of course, emerged out of all of this is Western medicine's understanding of germ theory, those invisible, creepy little grizzlies. That was first understood through the efforts of Dr. John Snow.
Black Sheep Thinking, every Tuesday on 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, powered by Camissa Asset Management. Invest different. Camissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP on 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, let's on 702 Drive pick up on some of what came out of that press conference given by, or rather briefing. What do I call it? Not quite a press conference, although there was Q&A by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Khomotso Modisa, our EWN reporter, was there and joins us now. Khomotso, one of the issues that was raised in questions was what is happening with the suspended police minister Senzo Mchunu, and we didn't continue broadcasting at that point. Certainly, in the first time the president was asked that, we didn't really get an answer. But I'm wondering if he came back to it, and if so, did he give an answer at all?
Well, John, he did. The president has been taking and trying to respond to all the questions that have been posed to him by the media. And with regard to suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu, we heard the president really asking for patience, both from South Africans and from the media, saying he knows that this is a hot topic and he knows that people are expecting a decision to be made. He says that we should wait for the outcome of the Madlanga Commission. And this is something that the president has said repeatedly, to say he's waiting for the outcome of the Madlanga Commission to make a decision on Senzo Mchunu. And he says that it won't be long. He says the Madlanga Commission has been given really tight deadlines, and once that report is out, then he'll be able to make a decision and to communicate that decision.
So in terms of other key things that just came out of that presser, what for you stood out?
Well, I'm very interested in the new Lieutenant General Puleng Dimbane, who's leading the police now as acting National Police Commissioner. I mean, she is an experienced police officer, and the president has taken the time to highlight that, really pointing out more than 2 decades of experience within the police, but also the nature of the experience that she has. It's policing experience, but also management experience and financial experience, as she has been the CFO. She's also testified at the Madlanga Commission as well, John, and so she's no newbie in this role as National Police Commissioner. But I think something else that the president wanted to highlight is that she's going to be supported by senior police officers as she assumes this role. I think something else that stood out for me, John, is the fact that they are now, we have both an acting police minister and an acting police commissioner. And that's a question that was posed to the president just about what this means for the stability of the police service, John. And the president did say that, the decision to appoint and make these appointments, including the appointment of Dimbane, is that these posts cannot be left vacant just because those who are appointed, are being investigated. So those are some of the highlights. And I think that really just pointed out the state of the police currently as it stands in South Africa.
Khumotso Modise, thank you, live to us from the Union Buildings. Let's pick up some of those themes and welcome to the show Dr. Guy Lamb, crime and policing expert at Stellenbosch University. Dr. Lamb, first of all, your response, I suppose, to Lieutenant General Puleng Dimbane now stepping into that role. I can't help thinking that the pool from which they could have fished to get a replacement as a stand-in would have been relatively small, given how many senior people are either in some kind of murky water as a result of the Madlanga Commission or likely to find themselves there.
Well, I mean, there are a number of issues that came out of this particular announcement. I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, especially when you had the now suspended National Police Commissioner, Fani Masemola, appearing in court in relation to potential, infringements and violations of the Public Finance Management Act. So something had to happen. And of course, the president and cabinet had a number of options. I mean, a more extreme one was to use the Police Act to initiate a kind of an inquiry, which the Police Act requires them to do, to look into the National Police Commissioner, indicate that they no longer have confidence in him and that they need to take this forward. Ramaphosa, true to form, has taken a more precautionary approach, which is the precautionary suspension, let the legal process unfold. But I think it was quite important when he was pushed on this by journalists. It was like, well, we will revisit this if this is a prolonged legal process.
Right.
Sort of sense. And sort of he did indicate that there is a time frame to this, but needed to act and needed to try and ensure continuity. And I think, that's your question about the pool to draw from. So, I mean, he could potentially have drawn from provincial commissioners, of course, the divisional commissioners, which he's drawn from. He could have drawn from outside, which he did for the acting National Police Commissioner. Sorry, the acting Police Minister.
Yes.
He could have done that. And the problem is that hasn't worked out in the past when you brought in outsiders. They generally haven't performed that well. So, it was probably looking for a kind of a stable, firm hand. And I think also the big challenge that was sort of facing the police is financial management, the procurement process, which has been, one of the big risk factors for organized crime and corruption. So wanting to bring someone in who understands the very complex financial management system of the police, and kind of send that message. But also, I suppose there are many controversial characters at the senior level. Some have clouds over their heads, so you're looking for someone who didn't have a sort of a checkered past, and I think that decision was made on the basis of that as well. But also someone who's experienced. You've got someone with more than 20 years of police experience, which is important.
I'm concerned, though, Dr. Lamb, and I'd like your view on this, that we may get the worst of both worlds, because on the one hand, Major General Dimpane has extensive experience on, for example, audits and so on. If you look at her police career, 2007, in charge of internal audit at the senior superintendent level. Then she's provincial head of finance and admin. Then she's deputy provincial commissioner responsible for asset management. Then she's the CFO. So clearly she has the skills to deal with that aspect. But if the main part of her job, implied by the title, just conferred on her, is to oversee all the operations of the police, she might be not very good at that and not able to devote much time to the things she is good at.
This is kind of question that we really don't know. And some people, we've had situations where we've had individuals coming in who supposedly had policing backgrounds and were very awful at the sort of senior level of directing the police. We've got other people who have a different management style, who listen to people, who kind of are able to motivate people to work together as a team. I think the important point here is you don't have to be a kind of a policing expert in relation to operations or the detectives, but as long as you're able to, support and back up and provide the resources to those particular specialists, that's important, not to try and lead from the front, as we certainly had, for example, when we had Jackie Selebe, for example, we had Becky Taylor as the National Police Commissioner, the sort of sense of, I want to try and do everything, and then everyone else has to fall behind them. So I think it really does depend on their management style, so we need to watch that quite carefully. So there's an opportunity here, but also it's the question we do not know how long she's going to be there in an acting position, because we've had multiple acting national commissioners, for various reasons over the years, and their kind of tenure can be limited. So, if she's got a bit of time, maybe she can make a difference. But also, there may be other things that we're unaware of in relation to her priorities. But the thing is that it may likely just be business as usual, where you just try and tidy up the house inside and not actually deal with other priorities. So there is a risk to that, definitely.
Thanks so much, Dr. Guy Lamb, crime and policing expert, on the line to us from Stellenbosch University, 26 minutes past 5.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The IDT was thrust into the spotlight in 2024 over a dodgy 800 million rand tender to supply oxygen to state hospitals. Then, last year, its former CEO tried to bribe a journalist in an attempt to stop him from delving into her personal assets. Minister Dean McPherson says the IDT is putting its worst days behind it, but has to accept those implicated in corruption are never going to own up.
They're going to use various channels and mechanisms and proxies and the media to try and defend what is completely indefensible.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Joburg is more than just a city, it's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, and we want you to join us and be a part of something special. Entries open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Jozi. Babize Bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
Hey besties, DJ Zinhle here. Did you know that when you buy any 4 Knorr soups, you could win your share of 500,000 rand? Just WhatsApp your till slip to 087 265 1280 and make it Knorr with Knorr. T's and C's apply.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis joins us with the very latest business news. Very good afternoon. What's been happening?
Afternoon to you, John. Well, really, I suppose there's a bit of corporate news, but also driven by events around Iran. Iran seizing 2 ships that try to go through the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump waking up and firing all manner of threats about what the U.S. Navy will do. That's pushing oil slightly higher. The JSE Ore share ending the day down 1 1/3%, 116,515 points. Financials down 0.4%. Industrials down 1%, resources down 2 2/3% on the day. Despite the fact it's been a very good day for Sasol. They had an update today and they were explaining how they expect their sales volumes of fuel to go up by between 10 and 15%. Obviously, because of what's happening in the Middle East, that's a big money spinner for them. Also, their refineries are operating quite nicely, and that's going to mean that they really are expecting big changes for them. Clicks reporting their diluted headline earnings up by just over 8%, their dividend up 8.4%, but they also said that their outlook was slightly weaker than they had previously expected. This is all for the 6 months to the end of February. That pushed their share price down 8%. We'll speak to the CEO of Clicks on the Money Show a little while, but they had quite a strong period. But still, the outlook is what's done the damage there. Northern Platinum down 5%. Dis-Chem, Clicks' big competitor, down nearly 5% as well. And Valterra also down on the day. They reported that their platinum group metal production for the last quarter was up by 7%. Bear in mind there had been big weather damage to the Amandelbult mine. Seems that all of that now really is behind them. So they will be quite pleased about that situation. Then we also see Anglo up 5.13%, British American Tobacco up 2.5%, Aspen up 2.4%, and MTN and Telkom both up by around 1% as well. Boxer also actually up 1.32%. In the US, markets did start negative. They were obviously concerned about the situation in the Middle East. There's also been mixed earnings, so it is earnings season in the US. A little bit more positive now. The Dow Jones is down 0.07%, the Nasdaq is down 0.1%, and then the S&P 500 is up 0.05% on the day. The gold price right now, $4,728.67. Platinum, $2,034.30. Brent crude, $103.09 a barrel. And then the rand a bit weaker as well, to the dollar 16.48 to the euro, 19.29 to the British pound, 22.24. On the Money Show tonight, we'll talk Clicks. We'll talk to Busisiwe Mavuso. We'll see if we can get her reaction as well to what's been happening in the police, John, from Business Leadership South Africa. You know how we hear all of these bad stories? We gamble too much, we drink too much.
Yes.
There's a new survey out from Visa and Discovery Bank that suggests actually we're reversing a lot of those bad habits. And I was very intrigued to see this number. 14% of people either are or know someone who is on a prescribed weight loss medication. Which,
wow,
that's a very large number.
It
and
is.
All of those people are drinking and presumably eating less. We'll look at that tonight on The Money Show. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Lots to look forward to. Great radio ahead between 6 and 8. 702 Drive, 28 minutes to 6. Marky Molapo with the very latest news, focusing, I would imagine, on the police.
That's right, Stephen. It is the big story from the Union Buildings this afternoon. Embattled National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has been placed on precautionary suspension after being implicated in the contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement at the Union Buildings this afternoon during a special briefing. The president has appointed SAP CFO Buleng Dimpane as the country's acting police commissioner in the interim.
Lieutenant General Dimpane is currently the Divisional Commissioner for Financial Management Services of the South African Police Service and has a long and distinguished career both in the South African Police Service and in other public institutions entities.
Masemola faces criminal charges related to the irregular awarding of a multi-million rand tender to Medicare 24, a company belonging to alleged tender tycoon Vusmusi Ket Matlala. The president says today's announcement is in response to Masemola's appearance before the Pretoria Magistrates Court this week.
In consideration of the seriousness of these charges and the critical role that the National Commissioner of Police plays in leading the fight against crime, I have agreed with General Masemola that he be deemed to be on precautionary suspension pending the conclusion of the case.
Please note the following story from KwaZulu-Natal contains graphic details. 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping and murder of 7 family members. Police say the victims were allegedly snatched from their house in Kwadukuza after it was broken into on Tuesday and their vehicle was found missing. The bodies of 4 women and 3 men were discovered this morning, dumped at a field during a police search. Spokesperson Robert Nechunda says 2 of the suspects were arrested yesterday.
One of them was found in possession of a cell phone which belongs to one of the victims who were kidnapped. Information directed the police investigation to Dende 2 area in Sindombili, where the suspect was arrested. He was found in possession of a firearm. A total of 11 cell phones were found in possession of the suspects.
Nechunda says the victims were allegedly tortured.
Police uncovered that one of the suspects worked for the victims. He and his accomplices allegedly broke into the victim's house, tied them up with a rope, and one of them allegedly raped a 20-year-old woman before loading them onto a vehicle belonging to one of the victims. The suspects shot and killed 3 victims to death. The other 4 victims were brutally stabbed to death.
In the Eastern Cape, 6 men have been arrested in Intilini in Starterheim for allegedly manufacturing and distributing various brands of counterfeit alcoholic beverages. Police made the arrest last night, confiscating counterfeit liquor estimated to be worth more than 500,000 rand. Officials received a tip-off about a white Nissan panel van with Gauteng registration number plates in transit from Gugombo City to Starterheim. Police then set up a vehicle checkpoint on the N6 and pulled over the vehicle, which had 1 occupant and was filled with clean empty bottles. Preliminary investigations led them to a house in the area where they allegedly found 5 people producing and packaging various brands of counterfeit alcoholic spirits. The police's Majola Nkotli says they also seized several boxes of illicit alcohol and more than 6,000 rand cash.
It is believed that the site has been operating as a manufacturing factory from 2025. The 6 suspects, aged between 22 and 36, are due to appear in court soon on charges of contravening the Counterfeit Goods Act 31 of 1997. They will also be charged for contravening the Liquor Act.
And motorists are warned to expect heavy delays at the split between the R21 southbound and R24 westbound this afternoon following an accident. A truck transporting bricks reportedly lost control and overturned on the route with no injuries reported. 4 middle lanes are subsequently affected with Ekurhuleni Metro Police and SANRAL officers on scene. EMPD spokesperson Millicent Kekana.
Motorists are urged to approach with caution and be patient as recovery operations are still underway.
A look at your weather. Cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows of 11 and 12 degrees and peak at highs of 15 and 16 degrees.
In the traffic in Protea Glen, there's queuing traffic on the N12 as you approach the R558. And in Edenvale, there's slow-moving traffic on the R24 West as you head towards the Galulis interchange.
The top story in Eyewitness News. Embattled National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has been placed on precautionary suspension after being implicated in the contravention of the Public Finance Management Act.
The Aubrey Masangu Show on 702.
I cover on my show issues of advisory, whether it is legal matters, whether it is financial matters. I cover day-to-day issues as far as current affairs are concerned. I cover the politics of the day and how we as South Africans are interpreting them. My listener is a curious 702 lander. They want to know what are the backstories, the stories behind what we are hearing on the airwaves. They want to understand understand what drives the different issues that have us talking. What I love about the 702 family and 702 Land is the fact that we have 702 landers who are responsive, who are present, who care about their communities, and who want to know how they can be a part of the process of making our areas better, but also our country better. And that for me is a great privilege. I am totally indebted to the providence out there to be talking to these people on a daily basis.
The Aubrey Masango Show, weekdays from 8 to midnight.
That's Tabo, before he got naked. When Tabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best. Hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Tabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Tabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Attention all shoppers.
Our supermarket shelves are full of unhealthy food. It's often hard for me to know which foods are good for my family. The information on packaged food is complicated and hard to understand. I wish we had easy-to-understand warning labels on foods high in salt, sugar, and saturated fat. We have the right to know what's in our food. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods. Sign the petition on healer.org. That's HEALA.org.
Evolution doesn't wait. Introducing the Changan Uni S. Unexpected, unmistakable, uncompromising. Engineered to a higher standard, unlike anything in its class. Unsurprising really from China's oldest automaker. Trusted by 30 million drivers worldwide. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more. The Changan Uni S.
Changan. Driven to evolve.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Sebastian here. John, Cyril Ramaphosa is a ditherer, is what you would call someone who dithers, who cannot act. These commissions that he spoke about, nothing has come of it, or very little has come of it. And Cyril Ramaphosa, once his term has ended, he's gonna find every excuse in the book to blame. He'll blame COVID which happened during his term, and he still has to explain for Phala Phala. Unfortunately, both these terms have just been where the country was under Jacob Zuma. It was already falling apart. Now it's he's just gradually taken us as well to the brink of no return.
702 Drive. I mean, we must have a chat at some point about the Zondo Commission and the Madlanga Commission. I mean, I get that people are disappointed that as much as could and should have happened didn't happen. I always have a problem, though, when people say nothing has happened, because there have been prosecutions coming out of Zondo. Some of them have been successful. There are court cases ongoing, and I think the speed at which they've acted on some of what's been exposed at the Madlanga Commission has been really quite noticeable. And certainly the lessons, if they have been learned specifically from Zondo or from other commissions, have been learned that, you can act quite quickly on interim reports. There are a lot of people in the dock, including the National Commissioner of Police. So I reiterate, I get that it's not as much or enough, but it's certainly not nothing. And I think it's important to distinguish between those two things, because how do you analyze what you do about a problem if you don't define the problem accurately? My thoughts, yours please, on 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Still to come on 702 Drive. At the end of the show, we always do some music and we talk about music and we have some fun with music. Now, I said right at the beginning of the show, a lot of songs about love and relationships and all sorts of things, beautiful areas of the country. And then you get songs that are about history and makers of history, like this one. Yeah, we'll play it for you in full. Free Nelson Mandela by The Specials from 1984. Do you have a special song that fits that description, inspired by history or great historical figures? Start thinking about that. Start sending us the name of the song and the musicians, and we'll see how many of your song choices we can squeeze in. 17 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira in a moment, but let me just update you on a story Anthony highlighted earlier, where Donald Trump's envoy, US President Donald Trump's envoy, Paolo Zampoli, had suggested to FIFA that if Iran's not going to come, let's include Italy. Well, the Italians are very clear about this. Sports Minister Andrea Abodi, talking to Sky News, says Italy's possible requalification for the 2026 World Cup is firstly not possible and secondly not appropriate. I don't know what comes first. Qualification, Minister Abodi said, is on the pitch. Yeah, okay, here to that. Anthony, some cricket underway?
Yeah, good afternoon, John. We do have some IPL action which is underway, with Sanju Samson being that anchor in the CSK innings against the Mumbai Indians. He struck 91 off of 49 deliveries to hand them 197 for 6 in that final over. He'll be obviously chasing down a century there. We did see David Brevis there for a moment as he struck a cameo 21. Mitchell Starc has been cleared by Cricket Australia to play the second half of the IPL season. He's not been part of the Delhi Capitals campaign so far, as he struggled with fitness and been recovering from an elbow and shoulder injury. DC are 5th on the table, while the Proteas women have 2 T20s to play in the series against India. That's Saturday and Monday, as forms part of their preparation for the upcoming World Cup. Captain Laura Wolfart says the fine-tuning of fielding needs to be something they consider there.
Yeah, probably not our best work in the field today. It is high felt though, ball travels, maybe it hits you a bit harder than you think, coming from Durban where it maybe hung in the air a bit. So I think just adapting on the fly, playing at different venues around the country, I think that's just the nature of it. I think we just need to keep voluming up on catches when we get the chance, and it's just one of those nights. I think on another night we take those catches at a group.
Switching to football now, where Real Madrid have a 9-point deficit to overturn to rivals Barcelona if they're to win a first La Liga title since 23-24 season. And it's become a bit tougher for them. They suffered a double injury blow, with defender Eder Militao and midfielder Arda Güler both suffering thigh injuries and likely to miss the El Clasico on May 10th. Barca have their own injury concerns. Lamine Yamal will miss the remainder of their season after he sustained a hamstring injury himself in Wednesday's 1-0 win over Celta Vigo. A boost for Spain, though, as he's expected to be fit for the FIFA World Cup. In tennis, men's first round of the Madrid Open continues. Grigor Dimitrov and Sebastian Baez are both out of the competition, while in the women's draw, Arina Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Belinda Bencic all through to the 32 with straight set victories, while the seeded Kalinskaya, Buzbova, Wang and Svitolina were dumped out of the competition. And in golf, South Africa's Sean Norris carded a first round 8 under par 63 to lie third at the China Open and 2 shots off of leader Alejandro Del Rey. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, it's 13 minutes to 6. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Motso Munyai, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. We'll start on the N3 South. If you're heading towards Bedford View, that area remains heavily backed up from the Betlu interchange. There's also an accident just after Van Buren Road, which is adding to the congestion, so please drive carefully. In Edenvale, there's still that slow-moving traffic on the R24 West as you head towards the Galulis interchange. There's also traffic pressure on the N17 West. This is between Nasrec Road and the Soweto Highway. And in Protea Lane, there's still queuing traffic on the N12 as you approach the R558. Traffic lights are out in Edenvale at the R25 in Old Johannesburg, as well as the N3 and Modderfontein. They're also out in Midrand at Old Pretoria Road and Olifantsfontein Road, and in Woodmead at Woodmead and Woodlands. Beware as well of 40 traffic lights in Pretoria, in Centurion at Old Johannesburg and Braakfontein, in Centurion at the R55 and Summit, as well as at John Foster Drive N5 and the N1. Likewise, if you come across any other traffic, please do send that voice note on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 52.
Did the kids actually do their holiday homework, or are they going to make it my homework?
Oh, the drama. Well, with the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. 702 Afternoons with Relebogile Mabodja.
702 Afternoons is about all things in life, from music to inspiration. We get an opportunity to explore science, mental health, food. I almost feel like there's nothing we don't do on my show. One of the things I absolutely love about 702 Land and the 702 family is that we are so sharing. We share tears, laughs, smiles. We share in the amazing times and celebrate together as well. We have a range of topics, but when it comes to what we do cover on the show, absolutely everything. My listener is somebody who wants to grow, evolve, develop. They're empathetic, they are loving, they are so special that even when they don't have, they come through and share, and more importantly, they know how to walk the talk.
702 Afternoons with Relebogile Mabodja. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive, 10 minutes to 6. Okay, so the song theme for today is songs inspired by great figures in history or important moments in history or just events that became known to the public. They don't necessarily have to have been events of huge consequence, but that's our theme for today. And we set it up. We're going to play you a little bit more of the song we played to. Some versions known as Free Nelson Mandela, also known as Nelson Mandela. It was released as a single. Many of you would not even know what a single is. That was back in 1984. It was written by a British musician, Jerry Dammers, and the band performing the music called Special AKA. Yeah, a song that, it was banned in South Africa, but you heard it all over the place as the late 1980s unfolded. So your stories, please, or your song choice to go with it of a song that you like that was inspired by something historical that happened. 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
The Midday Report at its heart is a current affairs show, but it really is a show about everything you need to know about and everything you didn't know you needed to know about. Our listener is sharp, plugged in, curious, has developed opinions, but is still open to learning new things. My favorite part is how witty, sharp, and funny our listener is. What we cover every day is breaking news, current affairs, politics, the courts, global developments, science, education, popular culture, literature, sports, books, and of course, good things too. I like to think of it as a lunchbox with a little bit of everything. What I love about 702 Land is that it is full of energy. There's always something happening, a developing story to follow. But it's not parochial. The 702 family cares about what is happening in the world around them and how we plug into that.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Weekdays from 12 to 1 p.m.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools, from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
The Audi Open House sales event is here. The Audi Q3 is yours from $10,799 per month, rate below prime, and a guaranteed buyback. This offer ends 30 April. Plus, when you come in for a test drive, you can stand a chance to win an exclusive Audi Formula One experience. The Audi Open House sales event, now on at Audi dealerships nationwide. Terms and conditions apply. Visit audi.co.za for more.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. A song about a historical figure is the Commodore's Night Shift. It basically talks about all of the music greats, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye. It's a beautiful song. The Commodore's Night Shift. Yes, Mimi from Dawn Park.
He was a friend of mine, and he could sing a song. His heart in every line. Marvin sang of the joy and pain. He opened up our minds, and I still can hear him say,
Tribute in 1985 to two musical greats, Marvin Gaye and Jackie Wilson, who had both died the year before. The Commodores coming out with a really very, very beautiful song, I actually think. Couple of other suggestions coming in that refer to historical events. I'm just looking for this one referring to the Joan Baez song that was also covered by the Canadian group called The Band, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, which is a song about the American Civil War, the end of the American Civil War. Hasmukh, Peter Gabriel's song Biko, that came out in the 1970s, if I'm not mistaken. We'd have to check. And this one from Darrell, a song by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, OMD, called Enola Gay. And Enola Gay was the plane that flew the first atom bomb that was dropped on Japan.
Hi, John. My song, according to the theme, would be a song by Lil Wayne called Tie My Hands, relating to Hurricane Katrina. Shivers in Boksburg.
We are at war with the universe. The sky is falling, and the only thing that can save us now is sensitivity and compassion. But I know one thing's for sure. I'm gonna get my kicks before it all burns down.
Tie My Hands, Lil Wayne, a response to the tragic events and aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, which smashed its way through New Orleans and other parts of that area of Louisiana as well. Okay, quite a few of you have suggested this, and it's not a bad one to play out. Coming from Nick to get us going, We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. And people who know the song, this isn't just about one historical event, it's about one historical event after another after another. Take a listen. Billy Joel, he's trying to get in as many as we can, and we're trying to help him out. But we are out of time on 702 Drive. Have a fabulous Thursday. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Corporate and Investment Banking, engineered for how Africa trades. That's how invested Absa is in your story. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, the Click CEO Bettina Engelbrecht's hair group reports higher profits, but says the competition is getting slightly stiffer and the outlook slightly weaker. BLSA head Busisiwe Mavuso will update you on their reform tracker and give you her view on the president's actions over the police commissioner. The Discovery Bank